haunting since time began. Raw side paranormal seeks the truth, looking for some kind of real proof. Creaking floorboards and eerie dark mist. Grab your camera and document this. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the wrong side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. The icy air touches your neck. You feel like screaming, but you stay in check. All's rising up to take the magical flight. You can't believe what's happening tonight. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side.
Hey everybody, happy Raw Side Wednesday. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing great. And we're halfway through. Sorry this morning, guys, about the morning brew. I had an appointment I forgot about, so I had to cancel, but I will make it up to you. I promise, I promise. And I want to welcome everybody that's coming in. For this is going to be an interesting conversation. And so get your questions ready. Hey, Cheza, how's it going? Hello, Miss Cree. Hey, Admit, how's it going? Pinky's in the house. Hello, Miss Pam. Caroline, good to see you. Let's see who else. I don't want to miss anybody. Did I get Pam? I think I did get Pam. Yes, I did. Miss Janice is here. And we've got Friday. Friday's in the house. How's it going, Friday? Hello. Miss Raven's here. Admet is as well. Hello, how are you doing? Hope everybody's well. Hi, Marie. Hey, Ryan. How's it going? Let's see. Did I cover everybody? If I didn't, just give me a shout out. Hey, Laura, I'm over here. Say hello. So we'll try to get the show rolling here. We're going to welcome Joe in for our chat and see where this leads to. Hey, Holly, how's it going? Pomp's here too. Okay. I think I got every Miss Sage. There she is. Okay. Let's get Joe on board here.
Where's this going to lead to? It's going to lead to a witch hunt of Joe.
Oh my God. No. I'm involved too. So, hello, Big Stu. How are you? Eating Mexican. Oh my goodness. Good luck with that. So how you doing, Joe?
I'm doing all right. Been an interesting week.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, it's been an interesting week in and off of the YouTube realm here. I don't know. I think everybody's going crazy.
I don't know what's happening. Something must be in the paranormal water.
Yeah, don't drink the water, guys. Stay away from the water. Now, it's, some people might have misconstrued what the title of the show is about. Hello, Michelle. Welcome in. Women, hormones, and the paranormal. And it's got nothing to do with anything against women. So get the knot out of your shorts, guys. And it's got to do with the effect of hormonal changes for women, because most people know that when women are going through, like, when young girls start to come into womanhood, or when older women are at the end of that cycle and doing menopause, they attract more paranormal activity. And this is what I'd like to discuss with Joe and all of you guys, to see if anybody's had these experience more paranormal activity during these periods, or more intense, and so on and so forth. So, what are your thoughts? Friday, you guys have hormones too, so it's not fair.
um, when you look at um, alleged cases of poltergeist activity, the majority of it seems to surround young ladies turning into young women. And not so much, but when older women start going through menopause, um, there seems to be some paranormal activity that can happen surrounding them. But it doesn't necessarily just stop there, too. There are alleged cases. And I want to make it very clear, like, a lot of this is coming from, like, parapsychology stuff and things like that. I am not. And I'm not going to sit there and say that I'm spitting facts. This is all, you know, belief. So definitely want to make that clear. Um, but there have been alleged cases where you have husband wife having a bad marriage. Then all of a sudden, what seems like paranormal um, phenomena pops up, and usually it's the guy who gets the brunt of that. But it's believed that it is the wife manifesting that, and it's being lashed out on the husband, who might deserve it. Who knows? But um, women, I believe, and I've said this. God, I have no idea how many times. Uh, Women are far closer, I believe, to the paranormal than us guys. I absolutely believe that, and I absolutely believe that it has a lot to do with, and this is not to be taken as a negative, not at all. But I do believe that emotions, women's emotions, powerful thing. God bless them. Um, and I think that is in. I'm trying to, with everything that's been going on this week. I really want to watch what I say. So bear with me, guys, because what a crazy week. Anyways, um, it may be something that attracts, you know, ghosts, spirits, inhuman stuff, you know, whatever, whatever.
Right, poltergeist activity.
Yeah. And I think, that, um, I'm not going to, I'm not implying it's a weakness. Um, but perhaps there are things that can take advantage of the situation. Like like an opening. Is that absolutely true? I have no idea. Uh, let's see. So is that to do with biologics or emotional situations? Um, I think both, to
Yeah,
be honest.
I do too.
I've investigated with a woman, and there were weird things that were going on. It was bizarre. Every time I was around her, I would get random water drops just hit me on the arm.
Hmm.
You know, that is usually a sign of something not good.
Yeah, don't look up.
And, whether it be outside, inside, didn't matter. I'm like, why am I getting hit with, drops of water? um, I'm like, hey, you haven't messed with anything, like some of the darker stuff of the paranormal. No, 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 no. I'm a Christian. I'm like, I don't know about this, but she was very emotionally driven. Which, again, that's not a bad thing. Um, well, yeah, come to find out, she was. Um, and whenever she would get upset, because I had investigated with her again, things would happen. And I was kind of taking the brunt of that. It wasn't anything, super serious or anything like that, but like here we go again. Now, I since then haven't investigated with her or anything like that. Um, just say that dodged a bullet on that one. Um, when you look at the majority of hauntings, though, who does it start with? It's usually the woman. Whether or not you believe, like the smoke case, for example, or any other case, whether or not you believe, it was an actual, paranormal events were occurring. Um, it always starts with the lady. The smoke case started with Janet. You look at the whole thing with the Conjuring House, started with the mother.
Right.
Um, and, that list goes on, and on. So again, you have to ask, what's going on there. But when you really look and see um, what's been, going on, and I'm not saying this for a fact, but it seems like there was a lot of stress going on. There was a lot going on at that point, time in their lives, and maybe something, took advantage of that situation. Um, I don't want to keep talking, Laura.
No, go. Yeah, no, you're on a roll. Go ahead.
um, so I'm also looking at the chat. I'm like, any questions?
Well, you've got one there on the screen. It says, "How about the Nandor Fedor theories?" That's if I'm pronouncing that right.
Oh, hold on. Say that again. My speakers are. I got to get new speakers.
Nandor Fedor's theories.
Um, enlighten me on that one because I have so much that I had looked into on the past couple of days. I could have it up here. I don't remember if I do or not. Which
That
one?
one. This is the first time I'm hearing about that one.
There's so I can't keep up with
So
every
many,
single.
right? Hey, Steve. Yeah, Steve says emotions and hormonal changes can stir up a wealth of energy. And then we have a question from Sage. Sage says, "Do you think then that female hormones have a direct impact on being able to perceive or cause hauntings?"
Um, I mean, both because something may happen and we may, anybody can perceive it as, something paranormal when it's not. Um, and cause hauntings, yeah. I do believe that there is something to that. And again, going back, I'm looking at a lot of the cases involving hauntings and poltergeist cases and stuff like that. It revolves around women. Um, again, we're basically assuming this may be what is happening. You know, is what um, are these hauntings the gateway or the emotions the gateway to hauntings? And again, looking on history, um, okay. So yeah, This really does go more into parapsychology. Um, there is something that I do have in my notes on that.
Okay.
Um, but anyhow, our emotions, like the lighthouse, so to speak, for whatever you want to call it, um, drawn to. Like like I said, when you look through through cases in the past, again, it usually starts with the women. Um, I find that interesting. And sorry, guys, like I said, I am trying to watch everything that I say because
Well, because of the backlash that you're going to probably get from what's going on in the community.
it may be
Yeah. I mean, this has nothing to do with men versus women. This has got to do with just fact.
right.
I mean, like I said, I've had family members who had personal experience who lived in a haunted location for a long time. And it was my niece. She was going through severe depression while living there. And that was stirring up more and more occurrences in the house. It was attaching itself to her. And it didn't stop until they had to sell the house and get the hell out because too much was going on. And my sister-in-law didn't want to live in a haunted location. But
Could
as soon as they moved out and got into a new residence, it was fine.
could it have been? Could the depression have been caused by something there, or was she just depressed and
It
maybe?
started shortly after they moved in because she wasn't ever depressed before. And then all of a sudden they started having things happen in the home. And then this depression took over and it started to increase.
Right.
And then they were getting more and more things going on and more sightings of whatever was in the house. There was several things in the house. The house had a bad history, apparently. It was a house in Missouri, and I'm still trying to figure out what the address is because I don't remember. But back in the day, they used to have an orphan train that would go through town. And these people were rich that lived there, and they used to grab orphans off the train all the time when it come through. But then these kids just disappeared after a while. And nobody could figure out what the hell was going on. And then the house was empty for years and years and years. And my sister-in-law finally bought it. And then this is the weirdest thing in the house. There was a room that was octagon shaped in the basement. And when you went down in the basement, you got the most horrible feeling. So she wouldn't let nobody go down there. She went down there because that's where their freezers were. But in the room itself had markings and stuff on the floor. So they were doing some kind of satanic crap in that house. So who knows what was actually there and what was going on, and if those kids were used in some form of ritual. It's so. But once they moved out of the house, and then it was like a week or so after that, then my niece was feeling better. So very, very strange. So I do say that, yeah, it does latch on, I do believe, to females quicker because we are more emotionally open
Um.
than
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
than the men are. It's just I just believe that women are more open emotionally.
Um. Yeah, and that is something that I do believe. And again, this isn't a negative thing. This is um. It doesn't sound positive necessarily, but it shows how important women are uh, in the community. When going to the Monroe House, by myself or with another guy, and most of the time, nothing would happen, quiet, whatever. Once in a while, weird shit, whatever. But bringing a lady with us to the house tend to be a little more active. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh my God, it was crazy, all this other stuff. It had a tendency to be more active, tend to kind of more so let us know that it was there. But we also had to understand that part of the history of the Monroe House, and that one of the people who lived in the house decided to get into some dark stuff out of revenge, and it was aimed at a woman, somebody that
Right.
he was in a relationship or something like that, and we believe that's why when women go to the house, they're far more targeted than us guys. I know that this whole thing where people are like, oh, scratches, it's all fake, whatever. Um, we know the difference, believe it or not, and I'm not taking a shot at debunkers, but a lot of them just they don't actually know what they're talking about when it comes to those types of scratches. We know um, most of the time if it was self-inflicted, uh,
Oh yeah.
things like that, because there is a difference between self-inflicted and then what people would call like the paranormal scratch. There's more to that though. There are other factors with that have nothing to do with the paranormal, but we've seen it happen to different women in that house getting those types of scratches. And you know when people get those kinds of scratches, I might as well talk about this again. We know if they're usually we know if they're self-inflicted or not. I mean, when you look at it, if you see breakage of the skin and stuff like that, chances are that's self-inflicted. However, if it looks like welts and lines, that's a different story.
Mhm.
But we also have to take into account that a lot of people um, may perceive something that it was more or less a skin irritation that caused that, and it
Right.
makes it welt. Yeah, I mean it is absolutely possible. There's a lot of pictures and stuff like that. Other things you can find online that show people who have sensitive skin, and then they have these lines down their back, their
Yep.
leg, or whatever that just come out of nowhere, and then eventually they go away, or they look like burns.
Yep.
Um, so, again, I'm not necessarily like attacking like debunkers or people who don't believe that kind of thing. There's more to it than that, and again, you can definitely tell most of the time if it was self-inflicted. Um, it could have been accidental, and they just didn't know.
Right. Right.
It happens. Um,
Steve says that one of the best known cases was investigated by Barry Taft, and it was a real story behind the film The
the
Entity.
entity,
Yeah,
yeah.
Doris Bither, is that how you say her name? Who was sexually assaulted and tormented by a succubus or supernatural entity.
Um, that something like that um, is a little different than um, the the attraction to women or entities, whatever you want to call it, attracted to women. Um, that is a whole different beast. Now, people may put that in the category of poltergeist and things like that. I absolutely do not believe in any way, shape, or form that that was poltergeist activity. I also think that, and I don't know, but with that type of situation, with that type of assault and stuff like that, that uh, would lead me to believe that something in the past happened to her, and
Good.
it was either didn't remember it, and then all of a sudden
Something triggered it.
something triggered it, um, and that's what happened. Well, I'm not saying that is what happened, but that's what
Possibility. Yeah.
possibility, because again, um, there are the cases where kids are experiencing something, older kids, like teenagers, or even even older than life, but there was something very bad that happened to them at a very young age, and then at some point, um, for reasons that are well above what I do,
Right.
it kind of manifests itself. There was there was a movie, I cannot remember what it was called. Um, so it took place sort of like in our time, and the lady was like reading like letters or whatever it was, and then it would go back into the past. And one of the daughters was just, it looked like she was just being attacked by something. And essayed by something, only to then later in that movie come to find out the father was doing stuff to her.
Ah, okay.
And then, and, the woman divorced, had a daughter. Daughter went with dad. Daughter was starting to experience some of that stuff. And
Right.
then it clicked. Oh my God,
Yep.
dad's doing stuff.
Yeah. Oh God. Yep. Yeah, Ian said sounds a bit like old-fashioned misogyny to me. So same misogyny that saw women sent to asylums way back for being emotional. Yeah, they did do that. They did put women away if they were too overly emotional.
Yep.
But it's not. This is pretty not what we're going at. Is we're not saying women are overly emotional. I think that women have more experiences in the paranormal
Right.
because
And
of the emotional openness.
right. And it's not a negative.
Right. Hey, TARDIS, how's it going?
It's not a negative at all. It's hey, you know, I believe women are far closer to the paranormal than us guys, and
Uh,
that women are actually.
I think so too. I think
It,
we're just more open. Cree says, "Did you know that the Native Americans believe that puberty is a time for gaining spiritual power, and it is considered a sacred time for those going through it?" Yes, I do know that, and that usually
yes,
they send them off to do their thing and alone during that time. Um, and again, they're seeing visions and they're having experiences. So I mean, there's something to it.
no, and I do believe that, and it's not at all a negative thing. Um, it, again, it is. It really is more about how even though it kind of doesn't sound like it, um, it's more about how important women are to the paranormal, and how much closer they are um, to it than us. Um, you can go back to spiritualism, 1800s, when spiritualism was starting. The majority of people involved in spiritualism were women. Now, a lot of them, they were scamming, they were fraud, stuff like that. But let's take that out of the equation, because if it hadn't been for spiritualism and women being very much involved in the spiritual, they dominated spiritualism.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot that came out of spiritualism and does affect us to this day. Spiritualism gave women a way to talk publicly. Um, Women weren't, it wasn't that they weren't allowed to, they were discouraged to. And if they did, they could not talk with authority.
Well, they couldn't have their own opinion.
Um,
They had to go
however,
with the opinion of their husband.
right. However, spiritualism was a loophole because they could speak with authority, they
Yep.
could gather and things like that, and give their opinion, political opinions, ideas, whatever. If they had said, "Oh, this is what the spirit, or what this is what spirits are saying,"
Right, right.
that was the loophole. Um, Spiritualism um, also helped giving women's rights, um, helped them gain the ability um, to allow them a higher education. Now, there is more to this. I'm just kind of like giving
Yeah, the ballpark.
you know, the bullet points basically.
Right.
Um, you know, it also it was very reforming too. A lot, and slavery unfortunately was a thing, but with spiritualism, women they helped push to abolish slavery.
Yeah, and it helped them gain power.
Yes. Um, and also, women weren't allowed to be some sort of religious leader.
Yep.
In my notes, that allowed them to be religious leaders.
Yep.
And this comes up to basically it was early feminism. And that allowed them, now, full blown feminism, which then gave them the rights to vote and, many of the other things that they should have had in the first place, to be quite honest. Um, but it changed society
Hmm.
because women and spiritualism. I mean,
And gave them a doorway. That's
it
it.
did. It really opened up a lot for them. And
Thank
again,
you, Pomp. 9 months. God love you. Thank you.
now roles during the early or late 1800s um, to the early 1900s, though there was the flip. Let me okay, the turning point. My bullet points here.
That's all right.
um, there was a turning point where then it became more male dominated. Blame science.
Well, normally we blame Beardo, but it's okay.
Well, we can blame Beardo too.
Oh, okay.
Um, so we have the rise of scientific investigations. The Society for Psychological Research had begun. Um, that shift authority. Uh, Control began moving towards scientists, psychologists, musicians, and debunkers. One key figure, Harry Houdini.
Right.
Um, he actively exposed fraudulent mediums, and at that point in time, the majority of mediums were women. Uh, Publicly disseminated seances. Um, and they were exposing a lot of things, hidden mechanisms, figuring out cold readings, psychological trickery, which then hurts public trust. Um, Mediumship went from suspected deception, but then, like I said, those roles have changed, and then it became more male dominant.
Right.
There were women who were investigators. They were debunking as well. But again, science, academia, women really just not allowed.
Right. They were in the background. Yeah, they weren't allowed. Pam's got a question. She says, boys and men go through dramatic hormone changes as well. Do you think perhaps a succubus activity or something could be brought about by that as well?
There is a possibility if it can happen to young ladies, then why not?
Right.
You know, young boys.
Yep.
But for whatever reasons, it does tend to happen more to young women than boys. Um, I'm not sure why that is. I mean, there are cases where young boys have experienced it, but it doesn't compare to the female side.
the attention to the women. Now, even yourself, when you go on an investigation and you've got girls with you, do you feel that they get more activity when they're by themselves? On the investigation, or I mean, do you find that it is an increased when you have women go out with you?
When I and I mean, it's going to depend. Um, I mean, I've investigated, with a lot of different people, and I. It's weird because it's a really weird thing because one, first, what what do they believe? Are they all in? Are they skeptical? What's going on at that point in time of their life? There's a lot of factors, and the same thing, for us as men as well. Um, I mean, I've seen two ladies go off and investigate on their own, and they're like, "Holy shit!" Like you wouldn't believe what happened.
Right, right.
And then also though, um, quiet, nothing happened. Um, when paranormal events go on, and again, I don't know if they experience something. I have no idea. Um, I don't go to a lot of the events. I did go to some of them, but like, not for me. Too many damn people.
Yeah,
Whatever. But
too peoply.
yeah, too people. Um, it seems as though the majority of the women who go to these, little public events are the ones that seem to experience more. This was, God, years ago. There was someone who went to a location and like claimed that whatever was there followed her. I don't know. I can't I have no clue.
Could have.
Just this is just what she's saying, that something had followed her. She felt like something was there messing with her at the location, and then followed her home, and then all stuff is going on. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I
That's actually pretty common. It really is. Chesney's got
it,
a question. She says, "So, in the regards, if someone went through a traumatic experience, would that cause a haunting, or do you think it could be a form of PTSD and hysteria?"
so that's an interesting one. And again, I'm not speaking with any kind of authority. I'm speaking from what I've researched, um, or have experienced myself. I do think that there is a connection with, and this has always been believed, even within like the Christian belief as well, that when something traumatic has happened to somebody, it leaves that door open for something to take advantage of. With the Christian belief, they'll say a demon.
Of course.
Outside of that, they would inhuman spirit, or some other spirit, some type, thing like that. PTSD. There's a lot of people within the field who do have PTSD. I'm one of them, and
Welcome
that
in,
could
Betty. Go ahead. Sorry.
that could also too. Again, like I'm not spitting facts here. It's all based on belief, but that having PTSD, that could open a door for something to take advantage of. Um, I haven't had, as far as I know, anyways, with like me. But this is not about me. This is about you, ladies. I've been to many haunted locations, and I've had some PTSD moments while investigating, and nothing. Um, just nothing. Um, just
Just going.
see, seeing
I'm trying to get caught up. Like we were like really way behind. Hey, Candy. Hi, Sandra B. How are you guys? Let's see. Um, but see, now everybody's finding it very interesting because now it's starting to ring bells. Because nobody really talks about this, but people have had these kinds of experiences and they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So it could be just, like I said, a hormonal change or what's going on at the moment. Or like you said, some kind of traumatic episode. So let's
Um,
see. Go
I
ahead.
mean, when you look at again, when you look at like religious beliefs and stuff like that, again, it's it is believed, and of course, it believes outside of the- like religious beliefs, whatever, that traumatic experiences um, can open the door for um, things to take advantage of. Having PTSD, again, opening that door, for something to take advantage of. Um, even a grieving woman, um, that could possibly open the door um, to have something, take advantage of that situation, those emotions. Uh,
Just catching up. Just catching up.
yeah,
Let's see.
somebody has, where was it? So like one here, Joe. So you're not saying women's experiencing the paranormal activity just because they're uh, right? It's just that they are more. Uh,
I'm trying to see where we're so far behind.
where'd
I'm
it go?
trying to catch
Yeah, I lost it. Every time I scroll up, it
up.
just
Yeah, it just disappears. Let's see. Welcome in everybody that we didn't catch. Let's see. All right.
but women's emotions are powerful. And again, that's not a bad thing. I don't
No.
mean it
No.
in a negative way at all. Um, I mean, without that, society could be a whole lot different, in not a good way. But I mean, like when we have, for our team, we have three females on our team, and they're great. And we definitely want to have them in a position to where they're highlighted more, and going off and investigating with one another, and seeing what happens. Um, like Matt, he also believes that women are far closer to the paranormal than us, us guys, men, boys.
Right.
Um, and it's not like we're using them as like bait or some sort of like experiment. First off, it's important, I think, to um, highlight women in the paranormal, and let them, you know, sort of like, I don't want to say the spotlight necessarily, but at least,
Well, I think they add a different perspective
right,
to the investigations. It's always best to have men and women going to the locations because a guy will see something one way, but then a woman will say, "Hey, what about this?" It might,
right.
they throw it out there. So I think it's really important. Um, there, Alyssa says, Joe, so you're not saying women experience paranormal activity just because they menstruate, right? Just that they are more susceptible. I want to make sure understand. I understand. LOL. Yeah, yeah.
uh,
He's not saying because Aunt Flo is visiting. He's just
no, that's not what I'm saying. No, no.
so don't anybody go after Joe. That's not what this is about.
So put your pitchforks down.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, put your pitchforks down. Um, but you know, again, if it seems like I'm off tonight, I'm just watching myself because I don't want to like oh whatever. Um, you know, what's I want to bring this up. The past week, I realized that there is a very big disconnect with the paranormal community of YouTube and outside of the paranormal um, YouTube thing. Um, YouTube is in like this bubble or this vacuum. If people would, if you could get people out of that little bubble or vacuum, get them to go to events and investigate with others, they're going to see a very different side of the paranormal. They're going to see just how many women in the paranormal are highlighted with events or going to like locations and things like that. Um, it is it is a night and day difference. It's the paranormal community outside of YouTube. It ain't perfect. It's pretty murky, but
But that's also both sides of the coin. It's men and women that experience bad things, and it's not just geared towards women.
the
Uh,
one of the issues though is that a lot of women who do get highlighted uh, end up getting caught up in things like, oh well, she's a part of this team, or she did this with whichever team, and they're all fake and all this stuff. um, First off, we can't necessarily prove that. We can have the opinion, but um, just like to a certain point, it's like just like leave that alone for a minute, like and let that person, you know, that lady be highlighted. Let her speak. Let her do her thing. I'm telling you guys right now. A lot of times, with like people who are on like TV, whether it be male or female, but again, this is most, for the ladies. There are a lot of really cool things that people could take away um, from like people from like TV shows, specifically the ladies, um, or an all female team when they give a lecture, when they're speaking. Um, what they have to say is absolutely incredible, and you can definitely learn from it. Well, because they have experience, they've been all over the place,
yep.
and you know within like the YouTube side of the community, um, it's not being presented. It's not like nobody's talking about it. A lot of it, just seems to kind of like attack. But it's like if you, regardless of whether you think somebody is fake or real, legit, whatever, it's like listen to what they say during their lectures, because what they may say online or wherever else doesn't necessarily represent what they're saying, what they're doing when they're speaking. I have seen a lot of women do lectures on the paranormal, um, talk about like some of the cases that they have, and they also, they talk about history and all kinds of other things. People can take away from that.
Hmm.
And with going to events and listening to people talk about whatever it may be, um, you will take something from that.
Right.
um, there are the what was brought up recently is that oh, there's no female debunkers. There are female debunkers,
Yeah.
quite a few of them. The thing is that they're not on YouTube.
Yep.
putting content out there, running their mouth. Um, they're out there in the event circuit, giving lectures, presenting things, and so on.
Hmm.
They do get interviewed um, and things like that. But you'd be surprised, just because they're not on YouTube, doesn't mean that there's not enough or they don't exist. You have to look outside of
Of
YouTube
YouTube,
to
yes.
see that.
Thanks,
Um,
Chaos, for the 5. Thank you very, very much.
I I don't remember the the lady's name. It's been quite some time. She did a whole thing on Ed and Lorraine Warren, projector, all kinds of stuff, and she's like,
Mhm.
she only talked about like 2 or 3 cases that they had done, and like, okay, here's this story, here's how people got involved, here were the claims and on, all that stuff, and then showed like the facts on all
Right.
of the cases. So she was like, "Here's the story. Here's what happened," and then she'll pull the rug right out from under you. 'Cause she made it almost sound like all in. This was all legit, whatever, and then she just poof,
Tore it
like
apart. Yeah.
tore it apart.
Yeah. B
Um,
Squared wants to know, besides hormones, do you think women are just culturally more emotionally open?
I do believe that. I do believe that. Look, it goes back to the beginning of time. you know, um, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I am probably going to get like videos or something done.
I'm putting it out there, guys. Don't pick on Joe. This is just a conversation, and it's a topic that I think that needs to be addressed because nobody addresses this topic, and we're not picking on genders or anything like that.
No, there's no
Uh,
need to.
no, it's got nothing to do with that.
We're all equal, but I mean, honestly, I do believe that women do have an advantage over us guys because they're just closer to the paranormal. Um, and I mean, it's not a bad thing. I I I
No,
love that. At least somebody can be closer to the
yes,
paranormal. I
something
mean,
get on something, right?
um,
Cree wants to know, what are your thoughts on emotions and claimed poltergeist activity?
kind of talked about that a little bit earlier, but so like there've been alleged cases where husband and wife arguing, their marriage is crap, and then out of nowhere, poltergeist activity starts to happen. Um, but I need to further go into this a little bit. I mean, again, notes, 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 notes. Because there was something there. Where was it at? Where did it go? Where'd it go?
I just have to point this out. Alyssa says, I like how Joe couldn't say menstruate without giggling. Uncomfortable.
Well, I wasn't quite sure where that was going, and when I tried to read the rest of it, the screen just
Yeah.
jumped, and I was back to the bottom. Um, let's see, where did it go? So if I could freaking find that damn thing, what's here? Many famous poltergeist cases centered around. Yeah, we did that. Common patterns. Oh, there it is. Okay. RSPK theory. Poltergeists aren't ghosts. They are manifestations of reoccurring spontaneous psychokinesis, is the theory. So, going back to the husband and wife situation, bad marriage, whatever, it's not necessarily a ghost that's doing it. It's actually the female projecting um, emotions and then the husband takes the brunt of it. Was it? I can't remember if it was that book or not, and I don't want to say what book it was. But it was. Um, I don't want to say the name of the book because it may have been written by Jason and Grant way back when. But again, if I remember correctly, if I'm wrong, somebody can correct me. They had done a case. The situation was a marriage couple. Marriage wasn't going well. They started to experience paranormal activity, and the guy was just, somewhat like taking the brunt of it. Um, if I remember correctly, they experienced rocks manifesting out of nowhere and like rolling down the stairs. There were other things that went on as well, and then they realized, here's what's going on. It's the wife who's manifesting these things, not on purpose, but apparently that's what was happening. There were other, similar stories too, where it is the female who's manifesting these types of things, and the husband gets the brunt of it. Or, sometimes the husband doesn't get the brunt of it, but it, creates or manifests what, you know, we would consider like a ghost. Um, uh, you know, Cree, yes and no. Um, I don't know if I. Forgive me, Laura.
Say what you want. You're allowed to say what you want.
Does it really matter if it's male or female? Why is that even a thing? It's not, the boys versus the girls. It's none of that stuff.
Right.
Um, hearing the what's been said multiple times. White male or white male privilege. Um, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't agree with that, because there are plenty of disadvantages for us guys where women absolutely have the advantage. That's just the way it is. Um, I also look at, when that is said, as sexist and also racist.
Right.
That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. Um,
Oh, I mean, you can't assume that everybody has privilege. White, black, blue, pink, whatever. You can't assume by
it,
looking at
it,
us that we've
it
had privilege.
I've looked at the studies done on this, and a lot of it honestly depends on location. It depends on the industry, um, and there are a lot of other factors.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, not only do I feel that that is a racist thing to say and a sexist thing to say, um, it's demeaning, and it's a way to shut somebody up. I look at it like, like this: if somebody of color was telling me, what they've gone through, or they've gone through the same thing that I have gone through, or whatever, I'm not going to be like, "What do you know? You're a black
Right.
male." I would definitely expect that black male to punch me right in the fucking face.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and if he doesn't, somebody else needs to, because that's horrific. Look, that type of um, political ideology doesn't belong in the paranormal. We have enough. We have enough going on, and we're all trying to work together. We know that there are things that unfortunately do happen in the field um, with women. It does happen to men, maybe not as much. Well, no, there's no maybe about it. Not as much, but there is an awful lot of shit um, that us guys have to deal with in the paranormal. We've had men who've been accused of things that they did not do,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's the pile on. Oh my god, I can't believe you did this to her. It's the believe her without having
Oh yes.
any kind of evidence to support that. It is you look at the girl who did the delivery. She claimed she was a victim and she was you know assaulted in such a certain way when that wasn't true. However, everybody pretty much took her side. And then once started realizing what was happening, what was going on, people were like, "Oh, okay, backed away, whatever." But you still have uh, people supporting her and saying that she was the victim when she clearly was not the victim.
Right.
And the dude, he's stupid, for doing what he did. He got drunk. He ordered some food. For whatever reason, his pants were down. I mean, he was still covered. His junk wasn't out, but he was on his couch. And he had his door open enough so he could see. But there was he had that other door or whatever, the screen door or whatever. It was closed. She opened the door. She went in, filmed the dude. And then,
Claim. Yeah, made a
yeah,
claim of
she couldn't
indecency.
see him unless she opened that door and looked inside.
Yeah.
Um, these are things that happen to us.
Fiction. Ah,
You know,
no, don't do that.
these are things. These are things that can happen. Not that specific situation, but there's been a lot of guys who have been accused of things who did not do it.
Right.
Um, I mean, I've had it happen to me where I was put in a position where I'm like, "Oh, hell no!"
Yeah, step away. Yeah. Hey, my husband's gone through it too. He's like,
Right.
oh nope, I'm out of here. So yeah, it happens on both sides. It happens on both sides.
I got lucky. I had a video camera running when something happened to me,
Right.
and when I totally like stepped away, like basically rejected it. She was like, "Oh, I'm going to tell people you did this to me," and
See,
all this
see.
other stuff. And I'm like, "You can go ahead, tell them what you want.
Wow.
This whole thing is being recorded."
Right.
And then I went to get the people who oversee the location and showed them what had happened, and they like gone. Her and her friend were gone.
That's ridiculous. It's just troublemakers. Let me just jump here quick. TARDIS, I can't see when people send me gifts on the restream, but I am seeing it that Pinky is posting thank you. So thank you, anybody that's sending a gift or has sent one. I just can't, it doesn't show up on the restream for some reason. Just like if you donate money through, the regular way, that does show up, but otherwise, the gifts I don't see. I don't know why, but sorry. But thank you, thank you, thank you.
I mean, look, here's the thing: women are absolutely important to the paranormal community. History shows it. If it wasn't for the women in spiritualism, um, they spoke up, they gathered, they reformed the interest feminism, and women who were involved in spiritualism were also involved in spiritualism. Um, Women have played a foundational role in the paranormal.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
Unfortunately, a lot a lot of the women in that time, again, frauding, scamming, things like that. You take that away, though, they made a big change in society.
Yeah. Well, the
And
negative is what's going to show up. None of the positive will.
Um, well, I mean, the,
Very rare when something positive back in that time showed up
well,
as
when you
uh,
have when individuals have a victim mentality, I'm not going to talk. They might say something. Well, hey, this good thing happened, but oh,
there's always the but, right, right,
yeah, oh this, oh that. It's like, look, dude, we don't live in a perfect world. We just don't.
right.
That's how it is. Um,
Wouldn't that be wonderful if it was perfect?
if it was
But
perfect,
perfect is different for everybody.
right, exactly. And even if it was perfect, anyways, we'd always find something to bitch about.
Yeah, exactly. Sage
Um,
says, I'm just truly curious if emotions or hormones or both could be tied to it. Thanks, Joe.
yeah, I,
I think
I I do believe that. And again,
I think
not a
both.
negative, not a negative. I do believe both. Um, again, I think women are the closest thing to the paranormal. Um, I keep saying that over and over again. Um, anyhow,
Girly puts on, what if poltergeists aren't really poltergeists? What if it's just people that don't know that they have really strong kinetic power?
yeah, I mean that was kind of brought up a little bit. It is believed to. Look, we can't prove one way or another at this point, but it is believed that um, that is a thing. It's a RSPK theory that it's not like a ghost or whatever. That it's the female who's again like kind of like projecting those emotions, causing what appear to be hauntings. But then there are the other alleged cases where it was some sort of entity. Um, Being able to tell the difference, I mean, like that is something that you have to look into and investigate. Um, and probably one of the best ways to do it is to remove the lady out of the situation and continue to see, you know, what happens. If nothing is happening, nothing is going on, then bring her back into the equation and try to see if anything happens. Um, there are times that I do this on purpose, but I do give a heads up. I do that at least. Sometimes I'll say to like woman that I'm investigating with, I'm like, at some point, I'm going to purposely piss you off, and here's why. And then I'll try to find the right button to press to see what happens. I used to quite a bit investigate with Christina. She's a scientist. Um, at that point in time, though, she was still going to college and stuff like that. Um, I told her once, probably going to try to piss you out just to see what happens. Here's why. And then other times we go and investigate, I would try to do things to piss her off. But she knew what was going on, which made it harder to piss her off. So then I would go ahead and just like kind of do that no thing and bring up politics.
That, or you should have told her to go make you a sandwich. They would have.
um, just to see, what would happen. The problem though is again, knew what I was doing, and it made things much harder. Um, I did have something interesting happen to me at the Monroe house, where I didn't say anything and completely pissed um, somebody off, and I was doing it on purpose because I wanted to see. And some weird shit did happen where there was banging sounds. Um, the door in the kitchen, we had it slam. We had it close on us twice. The second time it happened, it actually slammed shut. Um, but I ended up telling her, "Hey, this is why I did it, and look what happened."
Right. So
Uh,
yeah, it increased the activity because of
right.
the emotions that were going on. Cree says, I often wondered if that was what was going on at the Sally house. Not a little girl or a demon, but the wife was pregnant, then had a baby and the scratches happened. Thoughts?
That's a possibility. I've heard some. My the original story that I've always heard about the Sally House is that it was just basically a demon pretending to be a little girl, and then somehow um, history got all kinds of weird and wrong and things like that. So it could be. I mean, that is a possibility that if the mother was pregnant, she very well could have been manifesting things. But again, I'm not saying speaking, this is all factual or anything like that. It's all based on, again, belief. Um, and I'm not like an authority figure on on all of this either. But that is a possibility. Um, you know, um, but again, I mean, again though, we have to look at. But was it really haunted? Did it really happen? We have seen investigators, go to the Sally house, like legit investigators, and really nothing, like nothing happens. But then you get the other type of investigators there, and then like everything is ham, it's fucking demon, all hell's breaking loose. Uh,
Right.
the whole spiel of almost died, trapped, blah 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 blah. Um, I've always wanted to go to the Sally House. Um, it was on my bucket list, and it's not on my bucket list anymore. I still
Check
want to
that one
go.
off.
I still want to go, but if I don't, I don't. I'm not in a rush to
Right.
go there.
Friday wants to know for if some beings can be a manifestation of humans, then does this mean that Seg is a manifestation of Kenny Biddle?
Oh my god! I
Uh,
swear to God, that guy is a demon. He is a I never shut up demonic entity. No.
oh, yikes.
I love Seg. Um, and
Keeps going. He's like the Energizer Bunny.
I know. And he did.
Hi, Keg.
Hey, here's another thing too. Seg helping somebody out, a female out with that whole thing. Um, Seg did a great job with that whole Dolly thing. He really did. Uh, I thought it was freaking hilarious that she tried to shut him down. And he was like,
He
news.
ain't having it. He wasn't having it.
No, he was not having it at all. Um, so that I mean, that was great. I love that. And I have to wonder what's going to come of it because there ain't no way Dolly can get those videos taken down from the news channel. That ain't happening. Um, so we'll see what happens. Um, let's see. Trying to think. I'm trying to think. Um, what else? What else we got here? Involving this whole thing with the ladies and the paranormal.
All right. First of all, thanks, Sky. Thanks for the gifted membership.
This guy's awesome.
Ooh, Tardis got it. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Sky. Yes, she's such a joy. And she's been a member for 8 months. God bless you, sweetie. Thank you. Thank you very much. Trying to get caught up here, guys. We're a little behind. Let's see. In my blended family, there are 3 boys, 8 girls. My dad consistently would tell us women are not equal, but not equivalent. Would tell us women are equal, but not equivalent. That's different. I don't know. I just don't think, I don't think there's any limits for anybody.
I think
Hey,
I'm
Carla.
I'm going to assume like when it comes to um, physical strength and things like that. Um, I'm going to assume maybe that's what was meant. Um, 'Cause in general, guys are physically stronger. I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. Never mind.
Well, like I said, my father didn't have any boys. It was me and my sister. So we did all of the physical labor that he would expect out of a son. And I mean, it was a benefit to us because we learned a lot and we knew that we could handle it. So like I'm saying, there are some things that women just can't do or don't want to do. I get it, but I really don't see. There's always going to be a divide until people grow up and look through, you know, to look at the world in a different view. It's always one side or the other, and it shouldn't be that way. It's just ridiculous. Just like, but I do feel that, like, yeah, in the paranormal, the activity gravitates more towards women. And I mean, like, Keg's in the chat, and I don't know if her and Allie have noticed that when they're on investigations, that I mean, they do have some guys that are with them sometimes, but do they feel that they get more activity around them than the male counterparts? I mean, these are questions that I would like to have people document that and see, would they come up with over a long period of time?
Um, Working on it. Be patient. There are things that we want to do for documentaries that we really want to test and really want to push. Um, so
So that's something that you
be
guys
patient.
are working on. That's great.
Yeah. So be patient with that. Of course, Matt and Helena expecting a baby.
Yep.
So that kind of just it slows things down. Um, and it should because Matt, you know his little family is far more important than anything else, um, and as it should. Um, they should definitely be the priority.
Yes, I'm excited for them.
So, do you think some locations give more activity to mostly women or mostly towards women? Um, to a certain point, but I think in the home front, it happens more towards women. Um, like just being at home or whatever. So like being at a location, women might experience a little more activity than us guys, but I think circumstance depending on the circumstances that a woman, whether she's an investigator or not, maybe depending on what she's going through, could open up paranormal phenomena more so at home than at like a haunted location or whatever. But hey, you know what? Too, there have been the claims, anyways, allegedly, where um, things are happening at home, and then everybody goes off on vacation or gets away from the home, and again it follows them there. One of the things that I kind of wondered too, involving the Smurl case, given everything that's been going on, because they were stressed and all this other stuff, and it was Janet who experienced the paranormal activity first. It didn't matter where they went; it followed them. Even when they moved out of the house, it followed them to their new home.
Right.
Was this centered around Janet? Was Janet the one manifesting this? We don't know. Now, I mean, again, I'm not saying that haunting was absolute legit or anything like that. I think something was going on, maybe exaggerated or whatever. But again, it always these kind of hauntings um, always seem to start with the women.
Right. Now, Pam wants to know, would doing a base reading of things prior to a female investigator arriving and comparing it to one taken after be a possible indicator? Good question.
It is. So, issue there is taking a base reading and having it accurate. There's not a. There's really not that way to do it. This would have to be something that would have to be monitored nonstop, all the time. And there, quite honestly, there is just not enough time to do that at a location. Maybe at home, you know, it could be done. Um, but I mean, there's a lot of variables and all kinds of other things to consider. Um, so we just wouldn't be able to get an accurate measurement of anything.
Right. Well, yeah, because you're on such a short timeline.
Right. I've always said that going to a haunted location for like 6 to 13 hours is not enough to determine whether a place is actually haunted or not. Unfortunately, the majority who go to these haunted locations are going to say it's haunted, and they're going to say that they had activity. I probably didn't. They could have heard a mouse fart or
Right.
a REM pod go off, and oh my god, the activity. Um, there's not enough time to determine what a place is haunted or not. And then to go in there basically same amount of time and claim it's not haunted, that's just no. There's just not enough time to determine that. Go there, see what you can experience. If nothing happens, then nothing happens. Um, Science would say if nothing happens, we did not observe paranormal activity during our time there.
Excuse me. Friday says, I would love to see what an ECG would show in these situations.
Man, I really wish I could say. Just saying, we're working on some cool stuff. um, be patient.
We just have to be patient. He's dangling the carrot. You got to be patient. Sage says, I wonder if it is more like certain stresses that can be responsible.
I think I don't know if it's certain stresses, maybe certain stress levels, the intensity, um, things like that. I mean, some people can be stressed about something, and they're kind of fine with it, but if they're stressed about like something else that is far more, um, what do you want to call it? That hits them far more. Um, that intensity, it brings up the intensity of that stress. So, like, we'll just say, stressed out, job, whatever. But then going home, um, there could be far more stress. The kids, homework, husband, trying to, homework, getting the house cleaned up, making, all of these things.
Right.
That kind of stress could be far more intense than just, being at work.
Good night, Admit. You probably already left already, but sleep well. Thanks for joining us. Pam wants to know, what about men's private societies? Might we not be seeing as much male energy because it is kept behind closed doors?
I'm not behind those doors.
There's some weird stuff that goes on, apparently.
I don't know what happened. They could be playing patty cake. I don't know.
They're looking at nudie reels and smoking cigars.
Maybe. Who knows?
Thank you, Sage. 9 months. You're wonderful. Thank you.
I just know. I just know that when I'm off investigating, either by myself or with a friend, nothing happens. Like nothing happens. That's all I know. And we may or may not be playing patty cake.
Who the hell knows? Oh, because Pam says, Pam, my ex is dead, is a grandmaster over all the Freemasons in Washington State, and they all have their own ghost stories. This mostly happens inside the lodges. They won't let me in though. Yeah, see, they won't let you in. Well, how rude.
Damn white men.
Yeah, I know. Cheza goes, with women having more of a paternal instinct, do you think they are more likely to have interactions from younger spirits and
Yes,
some scared older spirits looking for comfort?
absolutely. I do believe that if I do an investigation and it's believed that a child spirit is involved, then I'm like, need me a female investigator, 100%. But not only that too, um, having a female investigator with me when it comes to like going to a home and uh, you, the parents just have girls or whatever. Great. Have that female investigator talk to those girls because they all can identify with one another. It's more comfortable for them. Or if it's a mix of boy and girl, hey, go off, ladies, talk to the girls. I'm going to go over here and hang out with the boys, talk to them, and see what's going on. Um, but I mean, yeah, no, like when it comes to stuff like that, um, what it sucks because a lot of the locations that I do go to, um, a lot of them, have allegedly spirit children or spirits of children there.
Right.
And I'm like, I try to do my best. Hey, I'm a dad. I'm a dude. Like kids seem to be more. Um, Kids tend to be a little more comfortable to women than us guys.
Right.
I don't know why that is. It's not always the case, but I don't know why that is, and then that's fine. Uh, I see. Yeah, Boo Productions.
Hey, Jeff, welcome in. Now, see, there's a question for Jeff and Dana. Did
Exactly.
they experience more activity because of Dana's special abilities and because she's a woman?
She'll call me out too.
Yeah, Dana don't care. She don't care. So there's a question you got to ask, Jeff. Well, I mean, what is your response to that? Uh,
Yeah, Jeff. Do you believe women are far more closer to the paranormal than us guys? I believe it.
I believe it. I mean, if Jeff wants to join us, you're more than welcome. Let me know. Let's see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. See, Jeff. So I used in the beginning. I used to do a lot of like client cases and things like that. I honestly stopped doing that because it started to become, oh, can you get me on TV? And then, like the most recent one I did, the lady wanted me to take her home, like to my place, like begging me not to leave. Um, Before all that, she was like,
ugh,
do you have a girlfriend?" I'm like, "Oh,
it's time to go.
gotta get out of here."
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, then when I was like, I can't do this. I had to leave. Yeah, take me with you, Joe.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I got enough ass at home.
But Jeff would have far more. Well, Jeff has far more experience because Jeff, and then they still do that,
Still do the residentials, yeah. Yeah,
right?
Jeff said, I think women are more sensitive and experience more than men. So yeah, so it's and like I
And
said,
hey, if Jeff wants to
they're
jump
still
on,
doing it. So
if Jeff wants to jump on here, man, he's more than welcome to.
yeah, more than welcome, Jeff, if you want to. All right, we have another question from Vit. Do you believe in animal spirits?
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence on that. Um, the reason being is that I haven't experienced that. Um, if I haven't experienced that or anything like that, then I'm just like I'm on the fence. Just like I was on the fence about people talking about like doppelgangers and stuff. I was like I wasn't thinking my friends were lying and stuff like that about seeing doppelgangers and stuff like that.
Right.
I was just like I don't know, maybe they just something got mixed up or they're confused. Then it happened to me. I'm like, okay, yeah, this shit's real.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
He said, I joined, but I'm a mess. Let me grab a shower real quick. Go wash that ass, and then you can pop in. We'll let you wash up.
But I think Jeff's take on it, too, and even his wife would be absolutely important. Um, I with this week and stuff like that. I think it's important to talk about talk positively about women in the
Yeah,
paranormal and
exactly. Send it
how,
to you in Messenger, Jeff. Um, yeah, and that's why I didn't want people to get the wrong impression just by the thumbnail. I mean, that was to get attention. Hey, this is what we're gonna be doing, but
yeah, I know I
people
got a
would have
couple
taken it the
messages.
wrong way. Yeah, that's bullshit. Anybody got a problem? Message me. Don't message Joe. My show. I'm the one that picked the topic because I noticed that a lot of this happens and nobody's ever discussed it before. And I just wanted to know what similar experiences other people and investigators have had uh, with women. Send a
Uh,
link. I'm going to grab a shower reel. Oh, yeah, I sent it in the messenger on Facebook, Jeff, under your name.
send me shower pics, Jeff.
Yeah, he wants shower pics.
Um,
Video would be even better because then you'll be singing. It would be good.
yeah, yeah, video would be better actually. Um, but you know, everyone has kind of a role in the paranormal. People have strengths. There are those who have um, like weaknesses. I don't mean that negative. It brought up the tech side of things. Women women aren't really good at the whole tech thing. First off, learn, and if you want to see women um, doing things on techs, um,
Grab the camera, Dana.
grab the camera. Anyways, learn it. I can get on YouTube right now and show hundreds of videos of women who are in the whole tech side of YouTube, building computers, video editing, all that stuff.
Hi, Dana. Grab the camera, Dana.
Get that camera. I want 4K quality.
A blue exclusive.
That's right. But um, anyhow, so to hear anybody complain, oh, I don't know the tech side of things. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how that. Well, do what everybody else did. Learn it. Not hard. I mean, like have people say, oh, I don't know how to build a computer. If you can plug a lamp into a wall, you can build a computer. It's really not complicated. It's laid out there, so you know what goes where. There's instructions. What about ghost zebras?
Oh my God, I think I'm gonna faint. Crow's here.
We're just here to see this train wreck. But no, Crow. But I do believe in um, what seahorse spirits.
Oh, ghost
Stupid.
walrus. Ghost walrus. Welcome in, Crow. It is a pleasure to see you here. I hope you're feeling better. I heard you were under the weather. Or ghost whales, yeah. Big Stu says, so in short, Joe's white male privilege has decided that moody, weak women on the rag are unstable and responsible for ghost activity and everything bad. Kidding.
You nailed it. We're in the show.
God. Oh my God.
It
That's
has nothing to do with
funny.
that, but oh shit, that's funny. Oh, but it does. There's so much I could say, but I'm not going to. Just
all right. Does he want me to send the link on yours, Dana, or I'll send it on yours? Because I know how Jeff is with checking messages. So there's on both.
Quite honestly, we should have asked them to like, hey, you want to be a part of this? At the very beginning, or while this was getting set up.
Right. Well, yeah, I didn't know what everybody was doing, or or if anybody wanted to get involved.
Yeah, like I said, Jeff and Dana, they
people get, they're like I said, they get their shorts in a knot when you're discussing women in this field, and nobody's attacking anybody. It's just I find it very interesting that because we've all experienced where you're on an investigation, and when a woman is involved, it seems to be more intense, and they feel more things. Like when they walk into a room, because I do it. When I walk into a certain place and I'll think like, oh God, this doesn't feel right. Where all of the male counterparts will say, well, I don't feel anything. And then maybe eventually as we go through, something will happen. So it's, I just think we pick up on things quicker.
Right. And look, there are times where I go to a location and I'm like, feels a little off. But then I blow it off, right? I'm just like, it feels a little off. Whatever. Make up excuses in my head why it feels a little off. It's probably because this room looks creepy or whatever. But it's like that's how I am, and probably a lot of other guys are too. Unless, of course, you're filming for content, then you feel everything. But
especially if it's demon,
right.
All right, not for that. I don't know. I don't even remember. Of course, a lot of them I don't even watch. But the majority of what you say, the demon garbage is mostly guy-generated videos. Yes, no, I don't see many women running around saying, "Oh, it's a demon."
I think it does come more from the guys, but there are a lot of ladies out there who are putting that kind of content out. Maybe not as often,
right?
Maybe it just boys.
Oh my God. Okay.
But the content a lot of women do on YouTube, though, a lot of it, when you watch it, it does seem like it is more emotional driven, and of course, more like the psychic medium kind of thing. I mean, not all of the ladies are doing that, but a lot of them are. Let's see.
Yeah, see, I don't really watch any of that stuff because it's usually, so it's I don't know. I just don't watch any of that because I don't believe half the shit they put out there. Yeah, Dana says, I think women tend to be more sensitive than men in general, and that comes across when doing investigations. Like I'm saying, yeah, because
I agree.
She's sensitive anyway. And so, and being a woman, I think that which her gift and what she experiences is more intense than the guys on the crew. B Squared said, could it be women are more attuned to danger, thus our instincts are better honed?
I think women's instincts are just way better. Way better. Like I get accused of shit that I haven't even done yet. But how do you know? No,
Well, see, you already got it covered. So if you do it, you already got the blame. So don't worry about it.
right.
Jesus.
But
Ah.
um, but I mean, yeah, I think their instincts are way better honed than us. I mean, let's be honest. You know, us guys, we're like, we see danger and we're like, I'm gonna fuck with that.
That is so true. Oh, oh my God.
In
That's
the
so
meantime, women are like, yeah, it's not a good idea. You know, bad idea.
true.
Probably shouldn't do that, honey.
Right. Oh, actually, that actually an incident like that happened to us one year. We had a heavy truck, and we have an area. It's called the Parkway. And it's all grass and everything, and trees, and people drive up through there. It's a scenic thing, and it was just like the end of it was spring, end of the wet weather, and my husband goes, "Oh, I'm going to drive over that lawn." I go, "Nope, I don't think you should do that." I said, I just got this feeling, don't do it. Well, he did it anyway. And we drove in and we sank all the way up to the running boards
Oh,
in mud. And the park was getting ready to close the gates. So we had to hurry up and call my son who owns a Jeep. You got to get your ass up here with Jane and pull us out of the mud hole. And oh my God, we tore that lawn up. Oh, and I said, now we got to get out of here before we get in trouble.
yep.
So now every time we drive up through there, he gets that look in his eye. I go, don't you dare.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I do believe that women are far more in tune with everything. Everything.
So yeah, Dana says that Jeff usually will trust my instincts over his own. Yeah, because I think women think, oh, well, the majority, because you can't say all, the majority think with a common sense attitude. You know, they sit
Um,
there. I can't say all of them because
sure about that.
not everyone has common sense, but the majority that I know that, yeah, they think through it first, and then they think, well, okay, we shouldn't or should do. Where a lot of guys will just jump in with both feet and say, screw it, you know.
Well, you know, they say, and I believe this, that women, um, they they act emotionally first, whereas us guys we act logically first.
Yeah.
If that's a sexist thing to say, you know, what I'm fuck.
Well, unless you're
Oh,
Vulcan, then it's all the way around.
but
But no,
yeah,
that's true. A lot of women are run on emotions before logic. Stu says I've met women that seem to be very much in tune with the paranormal, and many that claimed to be, but were full of what shit. But so far, 100% of men I've met that claim to be psychic are full of shit. Yeah,
yeah,
haven't found one that's real, if there is.
yeah, I haven't found one that's legit on either side. Oh no, I take that back. There's actually one guy who claims to be a psychic. And I was like, okay, I want to put this shit to the test. And asked two questions. That was it. No context, no nothing. And then the next day, like what I asked, like he said yes, it was going to happen. And it happened, so I thought it was funny. Um, yeah, could he have been lucky? Sure, absolutely. But I just thought it was funny. But there were other things that, like I would ask him that did happen again. It was just hitting, you know, luck after luck after luck. I don't know, but I don't waste your money on psychics. They're so freaking
No.
vague.
No, don't ever do that. Anybody that's legitimate isn't going to charge you to figure it out. Oh, look who's here. Look who's here.
Oh,
He took
Is
a
it?
shower. Is he all shiny?
Oh,
Oh, no,
He
there's
is. He's doing his smoking break, and then he'll be in. But
okay.
he figures he'd just get it set up so at least I could be in to start.
All right. So we can get the woman's point of view. Welcome.
Right.
yeah. I'm over here mansplaining and all this bullshit.
So okay, Dana, what are your thoughts on women and hormonal changes and the paranormal? Do you think it is affected by women's emotions and hormones?
I think it can because it can make you irrational at times or very more sensitive and unpredictable when you're doing investigations, not only residential but even ghost hunting.
Confirmed,
But
bitch.
yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it's
It's just
it's
asking for
going
it.
to. I mean, it's going to. It's hard to explain because I mean, for me, like I had all my hormonal changes were done when I started ghost hunting already. So for me, it's and then also that was also true for when I found out I had abilities. So mine was all based on what it was just me. It wasn't based on hormonal changes and things like that for me. But I think when you have some people that don't take care of their health and don't I mean they don't make sure know their hormones aren't in check, I think it can make a huge difference because you think irrational, um especially when it comes like to things in the paranormal, when you're looking at things and you're going to be hyped up as it is, and when you're hyped up, I tend to think women go a little bit more frantic if they're like say they're closer to being on their period. I think they're going to be more jacked up and more like jumping out at things compared to when they're not. I can't say for fact that because that's just my opinion because I've never been experienced that because I've never been in a hormonal area when I've ghost hunted and did paranormal, especially like cases and that. But it does. I think it does make I think it makes a difference when you're doing investigations. That you need to have a balance of men and women because I think it balances it out rather than having like I think you're gonna have this is this is my opinion, just how I'm thinking. So bear with me. I think if you have a whole team
Everybody's
of females,
terrified this week.
I know. Well,
Just say it, guys. Just
I
say it.
know, but I feel if it's a whole team of females, you're gonna have so many different people in different aspects. They're all going to be at different hormonal levels. So they're either going to feed off of each other or they're going to bounce away from each other. So it's either going to be you're going to mesh or it's going to be crazy. Where if you have men and women, you're going to have a balance out. If you have an all man team, I think you have more. Sometimes you have more of an ego thing that you have to sometimes fight with. So blending, I think, is the best way to do the having when you're doing, especially residential cases. You need to have a blend because I've noticed when we do residential cases, certain times you have people that will respond better to. You have to kind of feel and read the room, and you have to read the people.
Right.
Sometimes we have a
What we
case.
talked about earlier. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Backing up
some
what I was saying, Laura. I will be right back. I gotta. Dog wants out.
Nature break.
um, I think when you're reading, know that like this is crazy too because normally when we do our intakes, they always usually start with a female doing the first phone call. We
Right.
usually have a female do the first phone call because you can kind of get a read of that person, how they're gonna. If they don't respond really well to the female, then the next phone call will be with the male.
Right.
But but they usually you can kind of feel, but sometimes when you get on site, sometimes they will respond better to a man than they will a woman, and it just is gonna, I mean, you have to kind of balance it out and having that. And because sometimes when you're doing cases as well, if it's a whole all female team and you're going into like say a man's house or a man, and they might be exaggerating things because they want to get the attention.
Okay.
So having that balance of male and female, I think that's important because you're gonna be able to read a little bit differently. Like, I mean, there's been cases that I've like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable talking to this person. I think you
Right.
should talk to him because I just, I mean, there was a case that I actually saw, it was a male that got was really shitty with me. And it was like, I'm not doing this. I
Right.
like literally, so I just kind of stepped away and just didn't do anything. And I just let everybody else do it because I was like, I'm not doing it. It's like,
And did his attitude change when he spoke with Jeff, though?
it actually wasn't Jeff. It was one of our other
Other
team
guys?
members with Harold, and he did fine with Harold. But it was just like, I ain't doing this.
Yeah, see,
Nope.
some guys won't work with women.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And on the flip side, I think like if we do a case and it's like a mom and a teenage daughter or something like that that are experiencing things,
Mm-hmm.
Dana's going to talk to them, not me.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're going to tell her way more than they'd be open to telling me, and I would feel uncomfortable questioning a teenage daughter anyway. You know, that's Dana's job.
And it's kind of funny because when we do our intake interview, where we're actually doing the intake form, we usually have a male and a female, and we usually on that call is always a male and a female, and a lot of times I think they respond better to opening up because we get downright personal about a lot of stuff. And it seems like the men tend to do better sometimes opening up about some of the stuff with men.
Right.
But some of the questions they do better with the females. It just depends on what it is. But most of the men, I think females usually always tend to be better with women.
Too, we will go, like, if we go to someone's house, you know, after we've already talked to them and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. We'll split up. Like, I'll take the dude, she goes with the lady, and, you know, we just have conversations, and it's more natural and easier that way. I mean, for me, it's easier to talk to men, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, in that situation, and Dana, it's, I'm sure, easier for her to talk to the women, and they feel more comfortable.
Actually, it's weird because I'm comfortable talking to both. And I think that comes from my background, my medical background, and working with men, a lot of men, that I feel comfortable talking to both. But it seems that and it just depends. Like I said, it just depends on, you have to read the people just to see what you're gonna get. I mean, you don't always know, but and with me being a medium though too, we never tell them when we're doing the interview, we never tell them I'm a medium.
Right.
They know we have one in the group, but they don't know who it is. And so they don't even know who it is. So they can't even, which it would be funny because if it was actually a man, they probably would be floored. So, but usually though, if you do tell them who the medium is, they're going to pinpoint to it right away, which I think there's only one case that we've had that they just assumed one of us females was a medium, and ironically funny, it was two of us, and we both were the females.
I lost connection for a second. Sorry.
That's right. But both of us were the females, and we both were the mediums. But that was, and so they kind of always wanted to be with us, and so the guys kind of drew them away from us because of that. But I mean, I think with the mixed teams though, it's easier because then you have a better feel. You can get a better feel on what you're gonna deal with.
You know, it's not male versus female. We absolutely have to work together. And usually the stronger teams have always seemed like it's male, female, right?
Absolutely.
Chemistry, you know, when like for me, when I like investigate, it could be, you know, a residential or just wherever. Chemistry between the two investigators are absolutely important. You got to be comfortable with one another. There's a chemist, like the chemistry has to be really good.
Oh yeah, for me especially, because if we're going in somewhere, I have to know that the people that are with me have my back, and they know what to do, and they know what to look for to know that I'm in trouble. Because I'm fortunate that Jeff and Jerry really, they can tell immediately when something's not right, like, okay, come on, we gotta get you out. You need to go.
Right.
Harold does.
And Harold likes to test me, and then he's like, okay, let's go. But he tests me first. But I mean, he protects me pretty well too. But for our boo team, I mean, Jeff and Jerry, they protect me like no problem. I mean, they can tell when something's going wrong. They'll get me out. But even with Harold, I think even Butch a couple times, he's even been like, I think we need to go. I mean, but that's also the thing too. You have to have a really good relationship with your team, because you have to really trust each other, and you have to have a good rapport. If you don't, it's going to come across with your investigation, but it's also going to come across in the whole group, because I trust the people that are there to protect me, and like, there's times that I'm kind of like, I don't feel comfortable, and they will say, it's like, okay, let's go. We'll go and still investigate, but no, as soon as you say you're out, you're out. And
it's not always paranormal too.
No,
I mean, when you do the residential stuff, you deal with a lot of creepy people potentially.
Mm-hmm.
You don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going into someone's house. You don't know what they're into. We've dealt with some.
But quickly, sorry, Jeff, before I forget, because I'm getting old. Getting there. I'm not old yet, but getting there. But when I talk about chemistry, too, you can work off of one another.
Mm-hmm.
You can play off of one another, and it absolutely makes a huge difference. It really does. One of the problems that I was having was, again, I was investigating with this girl Christina, very smart. Again, she's a scientist. Her and I, the chemistry was great. Issue was, people seen that and started to be like, "So what's going on with you two?" And it's like, nothing. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
automatically goes to that.
And then it was, oh, come on, a hot chick like that, and nothing's going on. It's like, well, no, she's gorgeous, but she's my friend. I love her like a sister.
Yep.
Nothing more.
And that's funny that you say that, because I mean, obviously our chemistry is amazing because we work really well together.
Well, I'd hope so. You're married.
I know, right?
Yeah,
We are.
yeah, you gotta go home
we're
with
Yeah,
married.
but sometimes married people don't work well together.
And
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and it's just we have.
Hi, Vicky. Good night, Betty.
We just happen to work really well together, and we're married, so that's a plus. But even in our group, though, our friend Carmen, she's a medium, and our friend Adam, he's a medium. Poor Jeff felt left out, so then he became the Green Swamp medium because he felt left out because the rest of us. But I will tell you, the three of when Adam, I remember the first time Adam, Carmen, and I were in the same place together after I found out I had abilities. It was on my birthday, and so that's the part of the reason I remember. There was so much electricity and like energy zooming through, and it was like crazy. But it's like that when we would go on investigations, it would be like that too. So it was like, so our chemistry to work together, not only in our investigation but outside of the group, even when we'd go places, I mean, people probably thought there was something going on with all of us because we were so close together.
I definitely know.
We know of one.
Some people thought that there was something going
on with everybody, but
oh boy.
And it's like, no, we work really well together. We are very connected. We have a very good chemistry together, and what we did just worked. And to this day, we could still, even though we haven't seen each other in a while, if the three of us got in a room together, that energy again starts zapping around crazy, and you wouldn't even know that we haven't seen each other in a while, because it just immediately pops back. That chemistry is so strong.
And it was mentioned somewhere in the comments that working together, male, female, somewhere. I don't remember. Now I don't know. See, I'm getting old. I'm not old yet, but kind of forgot. But
That's nice you said that. So
you
you
work.
forgot you said it the first time. That's proof
Yeah.
that you're fucking old. But
Yeah. Anyway, whatever, Jeff.
Mhm.
sorry.
Oh, you just threw me off. Damn it, Jeff.
Now he forgot what he was gonna say.
Anyhow, yeah, I did, and yeah, and,
Shit, I'm sorry, Joe. I
damn
didn't
it,
realize you were that old.
Jeff.
I thought it would at least come back to you.
But strengths. That's what it was. Strengths and weaknesses. We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses,
Yep.
and we do have to work with that. And also, if there are those weaknesses, help strengthen those weaknesses.
Mhm.
Like if, just for an example, Jeff and I, when we investigate, there are things where he's going to be weak at. Um,
Like spiders.
I may be stronger at. However, there are things that I may be weak at where he's stronger at. So, even though it should be like it's saying male female kind of dynamic thing. Anyways, you're a team.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Help each other.
Mhm.
It is important, because at the end of the day, like if you're doing residentials, and having that right chemistry is important, but also helping people. It's far more important than sex. And I mean like male female, not
Yeah.
not
Well,
the action.
and when we do our interviews too, there's a lot of times where like when we interview people, like she'll start to ask them a question and then I just know what to add and when to add it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's just and same thing with me. She
Yeah.
knows what to add and when to add it. It
Right,
just
you guys are in sync.
we do have a like. I'm not bragging. I'm not saying we're the fucking greatest. Or
Yes, he
anything like
is.
that. But we
Flex.
really do, in my opinion. I think we do good interviews when we interview these clients.
Good night, Janice.
I really feel that we
Yeah,
We do
because
good
right
stuff.
now we've been doing we do all the intakes right now for the group togs that we're in.
yeah. But I'm going to retire.
Yeah, we're kind of getting a little tired of we've been getting a lot of residentials and taking the time to get ready to do these interviews and then they flake on us.
Yep.
And it's like, so we've tried all these times and then you're saying you need all this help, but then you flake on us. It's like, and you don't want to do what we're
Yeah,
asking
they
you
don't
to
want to
do.
participate
And
in the
it's like,
solution.
And that may be why they're flaking, because they don't like. Look, we have things that we need to do to prepare for the investigation,
Mhm.
but we
Mhm.
also need them to do the work as well.
Yeah.
Help us out.
Well, a lot
That
of
may be what's
times.
happening.
A lot of times the people think that it's just okay, we're going to call you, you're going to come in with your abracadabra and everything's going to be fine.
fine. And
Exactly.
No, if you're still worshiping the devil, this shit ain't going to end well. If you're still doing
Oh,
heroin,
geez.
it's you've got to deal with that first.
if you're not getting the mental
yeah,
health,
if
you're
you
not
have
checking.
mental issues, you have to deal with that first.
Yeah, and we do have a couple cases that they're actually listening to us and they're doing what we're asking them to do. And they have questions, they think something's going on, so we're going and looking and researching it or going to people that we know have experience in those topics, and we're just gathering as much as we can to
Like-
prove at the point.
Like one lady, I don't know how much you want us to get into it, like case talk, but one case that we're working on, this lady thinks that some aliens are involved. Like
Mhm.
go ahead.
Just real quick, one thing that I noticed, at any time Jeff and Dan have a case, it usually starts with "we have a lady." Most of the time,
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Although
Recently
been-
we've had both.
it's been 40-60
Yeah.
like men.
That's
40 men, 60% women.
Which is
with the
even
initial
crazier
call.
though. We've had a lot more for this time of year.
is
We've
really
had a lot
interesting.
more cases than we normally would at this time of
Yeah.
year, which is odd for us. Usually they pick up end of August all the way through to about end of November, beginning of December, and that's when we have everybody comes out of the woodwork. But we've actually had a lot just recently, and it's I think it's maybe I notice a little bit more because I'm doing all the intake, so maybe her weeds them out a little bit better than I have, but we've had
but
a
you
lot.
can't. But the thing is, we can't blow them off based
No.
on their email. We
No.
have to at least talk to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so, but that means setting up that initial phone call, which sometimes lately it's been because usually this is what we normally do. We get the email for the intake. I will go ahead, email back and be like, hey, expect a phone call from Dana Dana from our team, or I will email them like and get, hey, can you explain a little bit more? And then I'll say, hey, can I set up a phone call for you? Sure. So I set up the time that we're going to do the phone call, and either I get lucky and they answer the call.
Lately, it's been like.
And well, lately we've been getting the first phone call in, but then it's to do our intake interview where we fill out our form. That's when it's like no go, and it's like seriously, it's like.
And I think it's because we always tell them like, okay, when we do this intake interview, it's going to be a very invasive questionnaire, and you know we're not the police, but we ask that you're honest about any drug use or, you know, this and that and the other thing, and then. A lot of times that's a breaking point for people. They don't want to get that personal
and
private.
Normally, I mean, we would try normally, but because we've had so many cases, normally we would talk to them a couple times before we would do that. Say, hey, we're going to do this. But we've had so many cases, we got to be like, hey, and there's not right now. There's not a lot of us doing the intake, so it's got to be. We got to kind of move it along a little bit differently than we normally would. But at the same time, people just, it's like, as soon as they know you're going to get into their business, they're like, no, thanks.
Now, I got a question for you guys. When you're doing the residentials, what is the age group that you're dealing with generally?
It's all age.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's
everywhere.
All, like, honest to God, a lot of, okay, so this is one thing that I've noticed a commonality in a lot of cases that, you know, we've gotten involved with. Autistic kids. So a lot of times it's the parents that initiate the phone call, obviously, but there's a lot of times where there's kids with autism. I wish there was a way we could study that and be like, okay, why is this a thing? But and this is not like Kenny and Beardo and Side Eye Guy are not going to subscribe to this theory, but autistic kids, it's a belief is that they are like a beacon to the spirit world. You know, I don't know why. There's obviously no proof of that, but like,
I've heard that though.
Yes, but that is a very, very common thing. Not all cases, obviously, but I would probably say.
I would say at least 80%.
No, not that much.
But
when we're dealing with our cases that have children involved, I would say 80% of those. If there's any cases that we have with kids involved, 80% of them have one child that has some type of mental illness or has some type of autism.
Now, and again, this isn't a bad thing, but with a lot of autistic children, I have a son. He's on spectrum. They're very emotional.
Yes,
you know, they can go from happy, loving to just boom, not happy. And maybe that could be something that could be happening. You know, can't say for sure. Now, I had a friend of mine reach out to me saying, hey, you know, here's this family. They have a child who's autistic, and which caught my attention. I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on. At first I talked to the mother, then eventually the father. Long story short, their son loves Dolly Parton, and he's been trying to get his family to move out of they're in Virginia. And you know, so they're like maybe 2.5 hours from like Gatlinburg and stuff like that. You know, the whole Dollywood theme park thing. But he's been trying for quite some time to get his family to move out there. And he started to say that there were ghosts. He was just then able to start watching YouTube, which got him into somehow watching like paranormal stuff on YouTube. and then he getting the apps on his phone. So he came into a whole new world with YouTube,
Yeah. Yep.
and pretty much basically he was just trying to say that
Making it up.
Get him to move.
so he could move.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this isn't the first time it's happened. It was something else
Mhm.
going on. He wanted to go move with his aunt because he loved his aunt. He didn't. Aunt
Yep.
wasn't married. He didn't want his aunt to be alone. She lived in Pigeon Forge,
Yeah.
but
We're just real damn close.
yeah, but they knew the house was not haunted, but they
Mhm.
thought maybe came over, kind of like did this mock investigation, whatever, and say it's not haunted. That would put the whole situation at ease. That's what was talked about first.
Yeah.
I was not comfortable with that.
Yep.
Was not comfortable with that at all. There's a little more to the story, but anyhow, I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
We've actually done like mock investigations as well. And a lot of times, like sometimes these people just want to get their story off their chest and be believed. And so you go over there, you do an investigation, say, sorry, we didn't find nothing, but all of a sudden the ghosts are gone. They're like, yeah, everything happened.
Yep.
Since you guys were here,
Yeah.
everything's been great. And that's obviously not a haunting. That's more
Yeah.
of a psychological situation where,
but
Well,
back.
I've had this happen plenty of times, mostly females, but more of a recent one was with a guy, divorced, lonely, his son, teenager. When you're a teenager, your friends, you got to be with your friends at all time.
mhm.
And he, said, oh, my son and his friend, they went to a cemetery, then poof,
Yep.
house is haunted. I believe it's a little boy. There were certain questions that I asked, which what I call fishing. I'm just throwing stuff out there and seeing how he's going to respond. Is he going to bite to this? Because that could tell me exactly what I need to know. And he bit on everything that I put out there. I walked out and one of the ladies on the team was like, what were those questions about? I said, I was fishing. And
Yep.
he bit. Then I explained to her what I did, why I did it.
Yep.
And I was right. The guy, he's lonely. His son's off, doing, his things with his friends. That happens. Sometimes we'll get called in, and it's because they're just lonely,
Mhm.
and they
Yes.
just want to talk to somebody.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
Now back to the autism and that. So we've noticed because my brother has a developmental disability, and he talks to people, like people from like our family members. Like
Right.
he literally carries on conversations and talks
And I
to them.
personally, my personal beliefs is he's not like, this isn't part of his disability. You know what I mean? Like I think he's really talking to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And because he carries on, and he'll be talking about things that happened in the past with them, and it's just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, but I also worked with autistic children, and their minds are so, you have to remember the structure of their mind is so different than the rest of ours,
Right.
that they are so open to like anything and everything.
Because they don't see
They don't see
evil or bad.
No, they don't
They see the good in every situation in people.
but
I
not
think.
always, but they just how they perceive things and how they see things, it's so open compared to like same thing like with the vision. When most people see this way, they see this way.
Right.
And they see everything, and they look at things so differently than most people that sometimes I think that opens them up to get to seeing shadows, seeing things, hearing things that most like they're hearing things. They are probably hearing things that we don't hear. Just like we know males and females hear differently, because Jeff and I can listen to the
Yeah.
same exact EVP, and we hear something totally different. Or
Right.
Where I will hear something clear as day, and she's like, I don't hear shit.
Right.
Like it's like a frequency thing, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
and so, but they're on a totally different frequency than everybody else. It's just like their
Yep.
brains are on a totally different frequency.
Right.
So
Now, see, that's a great another show, because that's another thing that people aren't looking into. People that have autism and
Yeah.
why did they have more experiences or
Mhm.
and see things that we don't. And that's
There you
something
go.
else
Next
we
show
can dive
idea.
into. There you go. Got to dive into that.
And that like I said, that's always fascinated me because that is a very, very common thing in the cases that we do. And it's not just the, like when we get these calls, it's not just the autistic kids that are freaked out by ghosts. It's like something is happening in this house that everybody else is experiencing too. You know what I
Um,
mean? It's just something that's always. I wouldn't even know how to scientifically test that.
Yeah.
But it's very intriguing to me. Is why is this a common thing?
but like hopefully, people watching, they see Jeff, they see Dana, they're on the same page. They're both connected. They both work with one another, and it's not boys versus girls or
Right.
I've
who
never
whatever.
viewed shit that way. Never.
Um,
I wouldn't want to be on a team with all men. Like I really wouldn't.
Oh,
I wouldn't.
This is terrible. I could not be on a team of all women. You can
Oh,
vouch for
hell
that.
and
no.
you know what?
I
They
could
fucking
not.
fight
I
each
could
other.
not do that. Could not do that.
And this is something too that I have seen. I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of all female teams, and then all of a sudden, like they're arguing, fighting, and all this other crazy stuff. And it's
But
like,
I-
well, that lasted 10 seconds.
Yeah, but I've
Um,
seen all female teams too, though, that really work good together for a
The
long
Ghost
time.
Sisters. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them.
I've
Yeah.
seen them. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, regardless of they do use a lot of equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they they've done really well for themselves. They're
Yeah.
all over the place. I mean, it's hell. Some of the locations that we have to pay for, they're like, just come on. It's like,
Yeah. Come on
you
in.
can only get it for free. Like, come
Yeah.
on. But
Welcome in, Puerto Rican. Well, see, Puerto Rican saying, that autistic children are mostly unprogrammable and raw emotions and often unfiltered. I think, I think that's why they have the experiences that they have.
yeah.
And
Again, emotion.
Mhm.
and yeah, I don't want to be on. Like for me, I don't want to be on an all male team either.
No.
And for us, for the paranormal research unit, we have 3 women on the team. I did not want it to be an all dude bro team,
Right.
and I wanted to like try to bring another lady into the mix. Problem was there was just too many people. But then something happened, which wasn't bad. Just somebody on the team we learned new kid, things like that. Plus, he really couldn't be there all the time, to investigate.
Yeah.
And I was thinking in my head because I knew Helena was really good friends with someone, Brittany. I cannot remember her last name off the top of my head for some reason. But anyways, a lot of you have probably seen Brittany out there. She's done a great job making a name for herself in the community. Not necessarily like the YouTube side of things,
Yeah.
but away from that. And I was thinking, well, if Helena and Brittany, they're really good friends and stuff like that, I think it would be cool to bring Brittany in, so that way we can, I talked about this earlier. That way we can go ahead and let them two go off and investigate.
Yep.
Let's see what happens.
Right.
So that's that's what happened. However, I brought up, maybe bringing somebody else in, and it was Helena like, well, what about Brittany? And I'm like, well, that's what I was thinking of, but I was afraid to say anything,
Yeah.
about bringing Brittany in because I wasn't exactly sure how that would be perceived. But we brought her in, and Jimmy,
Yeah.
he was there. He got to see, Jimmy and I, we investigated together, but also watching Brittany and Helena investigate. They're basically on the same page,
Mhm.
and they worked
And
really well.
And that's a good point too, Joe. Like a lot of times, so when we do investigations, a lot of times I run around with the camera and film our investigators, and I enjoy watching the teams that we stack with women they investigate completely different than the guy team, if that makes any sense. And we don't always do girls and guys. It's mixed. We definitely do make it a point sometimes to do. You girls go here, the guys are going to go here.
And usually there's a damn good reason why. We're like, all right, ladies,
Yes.
go ahead, go here. We're gonna go over there.
Yeah, but we also do things like we stack our team, or like sensitives and
The people
mediums.
that have abilities.
Everybody that has abilities with one on a team, and then everybody that's denies.
Yep.
And we do it that way too. I mean, we set it up different ways, so it's not always. We try
And
multiple
that's an
different
experiment I want to try sometime. I want to do, and I want to use equipment for this, like REM pods, like all the bullshit stuff that we don't really use. I want to have like a stack team of mediums go in and try and communicate stuff in the same setup, and then a stack team of, say, skeptics, and see if the equipment goes off
the same
with the mediums and not the skeptics. That's my hypothesis, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be curious to see if the shit does go off for both groups or goes off for one and not the other.
Because we've kind of done something.
I don't know. It's just something I've always
we've kind of done something like that, but not to that extent.
No, not to that extent.
But we did try something of putting 3 mediums, and we did it with the remote viewing, and we put the 3 mediums together, and we were totally in a different part of the building, and then Jeff and all the other people.
It's a crazy thing that I can't explain.
Yep.
You'd have to check out our video.
Yeah, the video to see it, but it's like it was interesting to see.
And I want to do that again too.
Having the person remote who was doing the remote, he was telling us out loud what he was doing or feeling or seeing, and they were asking questions and asking things to be done downstairs.
Yeah, in a completely different
part of the building. And so then when we came up afterwards, it was like crazy because it's like, why was he so excited?
Again,
what was he doing? And
again, not evidence, but very, very interesting.
Yeah,
interesting, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you find when you guys have, you've got your mixed groups, and you send each group off in a different section, do you find that men are more technical and scientific with their approach, or women are more emotional with their approach? How is it? How do you think it works?
It's going to depend. Because like on our team, it depends. Like for me, I investigate totally different than everybody else on our team.
Yes, and it's annoying.
Yes, it annoys everyone.
It's annoying.
It annoys them.
Because she won't take a camera or recorder. She's got to write everything down, and then you can't read what the fuck she wrote down.
Because then I go, because this is what happens is everything that is being said in my head or everything I'm seeing in my head, I'm writing down.
Right.
And I'm saying take a recorder and just say it.
And I can't because I can't process it fast enough. But writing it down, I can process it. But then what happens is after it's all done, as soon as I come home, I rewrite everything to where it's understandable. And we use it to like when we're doing some investigations, we actually use what I do to coincide with like the history, because usually I don't know the history. I don't know the history of where we're going to.
So how about just taking a recorder with you and not, saying anything out loud, but just to see if you get an EVP.
Well, a lot of times she does.
I do have a recorder. I just don't talk into it.
Okay.
No.
What are you complaining about, Jeff? No.
Because I don't like the chicken scratch. It's hard to decipher. I want to.
Well, she's writing it down in code, Jeff. You got to wait.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's like really, it's Dana's shorthand because it's like I'm writing down and
it's like a 50-page thing. It's weird.
Yeah.
And again, we don't do that every time. But,
no.
But it depends on the scenario.
Usually I do that like now I don't do this for residentials at all. Residentials are totally different. There are some residentials I have, like right now, I am not doing any mediumship with the residentials because I have to do the intake. So
Which means we're getting the information first and we're doing the history of the property.
And so I don't know. I'm not doing anything mediumship wise for these. But now when we go, if we're going somewhere, for fun,
yeah.
I usually do not know where we're going. I just know, hey, we're going somewhere. Okay. Sometimes I get a name of something, but I have no idea where it's at or anything. And it's like, okay. But we normally, when we're doing that, I get no information. And then, so that's when you get the book of me writing, because then I'm like, okay, I'm writing everything. But we've also had, if we're doing residentials and I'm going in as a medium, then I don't know anything about the
Yeah,
case.
she will not sit
I
there and
don't.
listen to the intake interview, watch the intake interview,
I
not
don't
even
even know
knowing
where
anything
the.
about
I
the
don't even
people
know
that
where we're going until the day of.
Well, I mean,
we'll say we're going to Woodville.
Yes.
We're going to Sandusky.
but we don't say we're going to 3424
Yeah,
Elm
I
Street.
get
Right.
nothing.
And again, Dana's not going to cheat and look that
No.
shit up. But I'm just saying, but just to keep it legit and honest, we don't give an address or anything like that. We just don't.
And
And
I
again,
mean,
people,
we've used
people
it.
could watch and say, "Well, I'm sure you told her," but no.
No.
But again, our
But even
residential stuff
Harold
doesn't
has
make
done
it
that.
YouTube
He
anyway.
will give me things. He'll give me a case, and he's like, okay, we're going to go do that. We're going here.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and I have nothing, and that Jeff doesn't even have anything. Or Jeff and him have only talked on the phone.
Yeah, there's times
Usually,
I know
because
it,
that's
yeah.
the thing. A lot of times when it's cases he doesn't want me to know anything about, they'll talk on the phone. So there's no way for me to look up.
But again, too, this isn't for content. So why would we make shit up? Why would we fake stuff? We're not sending Dana in there to talk to the client as a psychic and say this,
Right.
this, and this. Like we don't let her talk to the clients as a medium. You know what I mean? We don't.
We don't even
do
tell
that.
people. We usually, when we go into a case, they don't know who the medium is ever.
We have a very good filter. Like there's a case manager, and everything that the client knows comes from the case manager. So if I did research on the place, or we have somebody that does really good research for us, she doesn't tell the client the research; it goes through the case manager. You know what I mean? So,
And now, it's a question, but through history, we see like from spiritualism, from basically the start of the paranormal field, the majority of the women were doing seances. They were mediums, they were psychics, or whatever. Why do you think women are more so a psychic than men? What do you think that there's something to? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's real or anything like that, but why do you think more women seem to say that they're more psychic?
I personally think they're more sensitive.
I think they're
guys are more logically minded to like, let's blow that off because I can't come up with a logical reason why this. That's just my.
I think it's more because they're more sensitive, but they're also more they have more of a nurturing and emotional side of them than most men do. Because I mean, some men, it's okay. This is not. Don't take this the wrong way, some people. But when you look at,
be careful
when you see,
oh Lord, white privilege
Say
female.
what you want. Say what you want.
But when you look at a lot of the psychics out there, a lot of them tend to have more feminine personalities or feminine traits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
When
not
you
saying,
look
not
at
saying
and not
homosexual
saying-
or anything
no,
like that.
no.
I'm just saying like
It's just
they're more sensitive
guys than
Right.
that you see out there, and they're more emotional guys than the guys that you don't see. Because even I will say, our friend Adam,
yes,
he is a very sensitive, emotional guy.
Yep.
But if you saw him, you'd be like, I mean, he's got the long.
He looks like a Viking.
He looks like a Viking.
He really does.
Like a Viking.
Yes, a Viking.
Yes.
And so when you see him, you'd be scared. I mean, so people are kind of like, ooh, kind of standoffish when they. He is like the most harmless.
Actually,
and I mean,
Joe. You would know who this is. He looks like the singer from Creed, but with long hair.
Ah.
and a big beard, but he looks just like that guy.
All right. Cree's got a question. She wants to know, don't you think that women tend to learn more and listen more to their intuition than men do?
Well, women definitely listen way better than we do.
Yeah. For the intuition, though, yes, because Jeff has learned, as I said earlier, Jeff has learned. If I say something, it's like At first, sometimes if he doesn't act, if I tell him something, I'm like, I don't think you should do that. He'll do it, and then he regrets it. He's like, I probably shouldn't have done that. I'm like, did I not tell
I
you?
do a lot of stupid
Yeah.
shit.
And he's gotten better about listening. If I get a gut, best thing ever. We actually got sent to do an investigation at a house. And we were going to put up record
Yeah, we're gonna set up cameras.
Jeff was going to go by himself, and for some reason, something told me to go with him, and I did. We started looking around this house, and the more we start, I'm like, Jeff, I don't feel comfortable here. I don't think this is a good idea.
And it wasn't a paranormal thing.
It wasn't.
It was these people are setting you
And
up.
they were because then the guy was supposed to meet us there. He wasn't there. He goes, "Oh, just go in and start setting up and everything." And it was like, so he started, and I'm like, the more I started it, I'm like, this isn't right. We need to go.
And
I
listened.
And sure enough, because then as soon as we packed up quick and left.
Yep.
We called and said, "Hey, we're going. We had an emergency. We're leaving." The guy got pissed and mad because he kept putting us off about getting there. And then he was pissed because we weren't going there, but he knew we were going to have a TV, cameras, and all this stuff. And so
I told him, I said, "Oh crap, I forgot my DVR box, or I made some bullshit up," and I'm like, just gonna pack
and he started
up.
getting nasty with Jeff, and then
this was clearly a case of, and again, people with drug problems, I'm not saying don't have paranormal issues, but you have to deal with the drug issue first. But I think they were going to steal my shit and sell it for drug money.
Yeah.
They had drugs.
Could have been.
Or they were going to set up to do something, like steal his car. Well, I mean, I don't know, but it was crazy.
This, but if we do an investigation, we're looking in your medicine cabinet. And we did that.
I'm nosy.
And there were there were scripts for people that like
there was like 6 or 7 different people's names on prescriptions.
Okay, yeah.
So and there were opioids and shit.
I'm the nosy one. I am the one that will do it because I have the medical experience. So obviously I'm gonna go look and see what drugs are what. And it was like, but when you see 6, I think that was my final. We have to leave now. Is when I saw 6 different bottles.
And I didn't want to. But I did.
And it was like 6 different bottles with 6 different names and different prescription drugs. And I was like, no, we need to go. It was, Yeah,
and the stuff they were talking about, it's like, oh, goddamn. Like, this was earlier on. Like, if I heard this story now, I don't think I would be that excited to investigate. But I was really like, we got to investigate this one. And, now we do a lot more shit with interviews and questionnaires than we do going with cameras.
See, and with that, experience absolutely matters, specifically with residentials. Did one again, this is 90s whatever, and went to the house, and there was some things that were said that one of the ladies was like, something doesn't make sense, because one of the things that was asked was, how, hey, do you guys watch the spooky stuff on TV during Halloween? Do you have any books on the paranormal or anything like that? And they're like, no. But there was something that was said. I don't remember what it was, but there was something that was said. One of the girls on the team was like, that sounds familiar, and she said something's a little off here, and then whatever was said by the people who wanted us there to investigate, she said something that came from a book.
Okay.
It just so happened that the lady on the team read that book.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So then we're like, so now we're looking. Now they didn't hide anything or anything like that, but we looked. We looked at all, big ass little bookshelf. We're looking at, okay, here's this book, here's that book, whatever. And we're like, okay, because a lot of the things that were being said too was very like the classic stereotype type of haunting.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were getting stuff out of that, and then Yeah, really. Uh, it was. What was it? It was. I think it may have been sightings or some shit like that,
Oh,
where
okay.
they were kind of hoping, to maybe, get some of that. Now we did investigate and things like that.
Yep.
Nothing. Um, they did believe that their house was haunted, but you know, they had their nose in
And that, and
Carol.
Yeah, it was a
that's one of the
game.
things too that we ask in our questionnaire is, do you watch paranormal content? YouTube, TV shows, whatever. And that's a big tell. It really
Yep.
is, because I mean, people that watch paranormal YouTube a lot of times have crazy experiences that, like, if this shit was real, this is Hollywood stuff.
Right.
We
You know,
had them where they've been telling almost like word for word something they saw in one of the episodes.
yeah, and then you tell them too, like, you do realize, like, Sam and Colby are fake.
And then like,
Or
oh no,
sensationalized.
no.
Or no, but sometimes they're like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're shocked that stuff is not real. And
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, we've shattered some people's dreams before.
Yeah, dream crushers. Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've pulled the Kenny Biddle on people, but I
Yeah.
mean, they there's really a lot of people that think that shit is
It's
real.
real.
Yeah.
How many cases have you guys done that it seems like it's poltergeist activity, but it involves a married couple whose
Fighting and stuff.
marriage is just shit,
Right.
and all of a sudden, we went from not haunted to then all of a sudden paranormal things.
I'm gonna
happen.
say not many.
Not many, yeah.
Honest to God, most.
But in general, a lot of times, this is something too. When we finally go to a house, and because we will go to a house and do, before we even really do an investigation, we walk the house and everything, and we will actually talk with the couple, and like if it's a couple, and Jeff will go say with the male, I'll go with the female, and we'll ask, hey, is there anything, have you had any arguments? Have you guys been fighting? Has there been any disagreements and everything? And sometimes it does come back, well, we've been arguing about finances. We've been arguing about if we should move or not.
But I don't know that, like, in specific to Joe's question, I don't know that translates into poltergeist activity.
True, but I'm just saying, but
haunting,
Or
haunting
does it
claims, yes.
seem
But
to be?
no.
Does it seem to be centered more around like the female?
But it can be both. But I'm just saying, when you have it's like, it's not really like they have a haunting. It's like, it's just negative energy that just needs to get removed out of their house.
Yeah, but they do something, like, in fact, one of the very I don't want to say famous YouTube cases, but that Jed, that you remember that story Beardo brought up with
Right.
the Paranormal Nightmare TV and all that stuff. They were arguing a lot, and we'll talk off air on my thoughts on that.
But we had a case
and Laura, if you
Can I throw my 2 cents in there? I think maybe possibly what could have been happening is that the guy was basically blaming the hardship of their relationship on a ghost or a demon or whatever.
Yes, that was very much part of it, I think.
Okay.
But again, I don't want to go, like.
You don't have to.
Well,
You don't have to. You can say it
I'm
off.
giving my take. You don't have to confirm it. You don't have to anything.
But I will definitely tell both of you off air if you're interested.
But yeah, so see, but the thing is, what we're getting at is, do you think that because it was an emotionally charged,
It was definitely
area home that it was, and usually you think it's because it's because of the woman.
It was
stronger emotions.
It was emotionally charged, but actually in that case, I think it was more the man.
Yeah.
I think
that happens.
But
it wasn't. I don't. Fuck, man. God, I hope they never say this. I don't really think there was a haunting going on.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what I was basically alluding to.
Well, yeah, Joe, you saw the interviews, right?
Yeah.
Didn't I share them? I'm pretty sure I shared that with you.
Jeff, I don't. You know what?
I think I asked for your opinion on it.
I know you asked me for my opinion on one, on another one, but I'm.
Okay, maybe I did.
Maybe you were going to but never did or whatever.
Okay.
And if that's the case, of course, I'm not going to be like, hey, where's that video? Because there may be other things going on.
Well,
And
no, and there
it's not
were
my case. It's none of my business.
yep, and there were other people that analyzed that couple and actually reached out to them and interviewed them, which I thought was kind of like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like uninvited, just again.
I never
I'll
ever
tell you-
said when people do that, you can't trust them.
I'll tell you who off air. Like it was
Wow.
people within the YouTube community, and I was like, what the fuck are you? What are you doing?
Yeah, they're
Like, why would you just pick, this couple that Beardo talked to and whatnot first? He said that we were getting involved. We were working with these people, and this other person just went
Jumped
at him,
on it.
interviewed him, and all this shit.
Yep.
Did videos on it, and
Yeah,
yeah, it
content.
was not cool.
Yeah, there are some. I'm not gonna point anyone out specifically, but we'll just say that there are some people who do watch us and shit like that who are fucking nosy.
Oh yeah. Well, even on a local level,
Mm.
there's teams in Toledo. Like
Yeah,
we've got to be very careful. Like we don't say where we're going before we go there when we do public stuff, because they're gonna jump on their stuff
Sure.
too.
Yep.
And it's like, dude, they don't want you there. They asked us to come.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, but it happens.
A lot.
Isn't it just ridiculous?
It
It's
is.
just
It's
ridiculous.
horrible that we have to be so cryptic in what we're gonna do. And like, there's a place that we're gonna go to again soon.
But
that
we
I haven't told you about this yet.
Yes, you did. Yeah,
Okay, I did tell him.
you told me on the way to dinner.
Okay. But like we can't even mention it, and it's a cool fucking story. It's a cool place
Ridiculous.
because they will have 30 ghost hunters knocking on their door tomorrow if we
Mhm.
talk about it.
Wow.
You know,
Um,
And ones
Crazy.
they don't need to be there.
yes, ones that, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very-
I had I don't know who it was for sure, but I had gone off. I'm not going to say what location it was. I don't want to because that could be a little telling. But
Yeah.
Anyhow, went to a location. Nothing happened, and put that video out there, and then somebody seen that video, contacted the owner of that location. They were wanting to investigate it. However, they were trying to get it as cheap as possible because they said that I said it was not haunted. And all I said was nothing happened.
exactly. That's
See,
two
there's
very,
the
very different
There's-
statements that people
Yep.
turn into, oh, you said it's not haunted. No, that's not what I said.
And it's crazy because, like for us, Collinwood, people, because we have had stuff happen there.
Yep.
But we have
most
gone
of the
there.
time, nothing.
Yeah, but that doesn't count for how many times we've gone there and absolutely nothing has happened.
Right.
And so when we tell people, well, be prepared, you're probably not going to have anything
Right.
happen. They're like, but you said, it's like, because the majority of the time, something doesn't happen.
And it's like with Joe in the Monroe house. Like you said, you've been there where stuff has happened. You've been there where nothing has happened.
Most of the time, nothing happens.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
And
timing.
that's how it is
Yep.
with what we.
I will say this though, this is something that we do too when we're doing investigations. A lot of times when male female teams, you can play on what might draw things to come out.
Yes.
So we do that. So we kind
Yep.
of stack that way too.
Well, there was a case that actually Tobe started. We kind of joined like later on in the after the fact, but the spirit that we believed that was haunting that place hated women. There were history of restraining orders from his family members against him, stuff that he had said in court cases, blah blah blah. This dude hated women. So when guys would investigate there, nothing would happen. You stick a female in there and shit started kicking off.
Mm-hmm.
So
Just like the Monroe house.
Yeah.
Jeff, when we went there with Kenny and Michael,
Mhm.
nothing happened. Although, well, there was that weird thing where It smelled like somebody was like using dryer sheets, which there's
Yeah.
no dryer there. Other than
Yeah.
that, it was, it was nothing but, and I do want to go back, and I definitely
Oh, I do too.
I want you and Dana
I
there.
want Dana to go there. I really do.
Um,
Although it's one of those like, so okay, so obviously people say this is the demon house. You guys did a documentary calling it the demon house.
we
Well,
do. I mean, I now, me personally, I do believe that there is something
exactly.
demonic there,
Right.
and that's what I believe.
In my fear is that if there is something demonic, it's gonna know to fuck with her to get to me. That's my biggest fear, and
Right.
that's why like I want Dana to go there, but I'm afraid of that scenario. I do have that fear.
Right.
And
Um,
that's because we've had
At
experiences at Collingwood, but even in our own home,
Yes.
that something has come at me, even though it was kind of playful. I think it came at me to the
Yeah,
case.
we're not saying it's demonic.
No, it wasn't demonic, but it was like, hey, back off. So it did something to me because it thought I was hurting him, but I wasn't.
Yeah, there was one time she like legit. Okay, God damn, this is where we get canceled on YouTube. Yeah, a lot of people think scratches are fake and this and that and the other.
I've already talked about it. Please continue on, Jeff.
Yeah, Dana had some scratches on her one night that
We could not. They were not there because I had.
I would love
This
to
is
show the
funny.
pictures, but there's boobies involved,
Yeah.
so we can't. Put
This
them
is
out.
what's
'Cause
funny
I'm-
about it though, is that I was like wrestling
Yes.
and tickling, like holding him down and tickling him. And then I got up to go take my shower because I got up. No, it was after work. So then
Yep.
I got up I went and took my shower. There was nothing there. I got out of the shower and I was drying off and I was like, what the heck? And like literally on the boob going up, there's
Yeah.
like 3 scratches. And we tried to mimic it and could not mimic
Right.
what the scratches were.
So
Now, quickly, the scratches. No skin breakage, correct?
no,
No.
Just almost like welts.
like
red-
somebody painted.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. There was no. There was no blood
No.
cut, nothing.
No, but it was so strange because it was like, what? Because it was like, well, the dogs weren't in there because the dogs weren't going to scratch me up there. But
Right.
it was just the strangest thing because, and Jeff, it's funny because Jeff has showed people the picture, but I mean, you can't see everything, but you can tell it's a boob. And it's just like, but it was like, what the heck? And it was like, okay. And so it was just like a random thing, but apparently, and it was just like whoever it was, and this was before I started bubbling the house though too.
And that's the first.
And-
that may be the only time that I've seen like scratches that I cannot really discount.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? A lot of times I can say, like in one case we're doing right now, like, I'm sorry, ma'am, those are not scratches, those are bed sheet wrinkles. You know what I mean? Or there's definitely ones
Yeah,
on
it
YouTube
was
that
just-
like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you did that to yourself.
we
you
can
know?
we can pretty much tell what was self-inflicted or even an accident versus what wasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'll give you permission to show Joe the picture.
I would have
And
to
Laura.
find it. But yeah, they
I mean,
look like
it's
just
crazy.
red marks.
It's just little red marks, and we like,
Wow.
but the spacing of them, it's like they're weird spacing,
And it is 3.
yeah, and it's 3.
So
And
I
it
don't
was
know.
just like, I mean, we joked about it for a lot. I mean, at first it was kind of like, okay, this is kind of creepy, but because I mean, obviously I do have things like I tend to feel touches more. I feel my hair pulled more. I do get like marks, but they go away like almost immediately sometimes. Where I get that more than Jeff, but I'm also more open to that.
Well, that's
Where-
fair. The question I'm going to ask is, do you think that it's more common for women to be either have a demonic interlude or men, or is it pretty much the same? Because you know how you always hear, oh, I got to take demon or this, that, and this. Do you think it's pretty equal, or do you think
I would think it would have to equal. I mean, it's anybody. It's
Right.
going to happen to anybody. I mean,
I think quickly,
I think it's more women.
I do believe that it is more women because, like
Yeah.
I said, with stuff like that. Again, talking only with my experiences within the field, it tends to happen more to women than us guys. Now, I've had been scratched, stuff like that, whatever. And quickly, and this was my first time meeting this person, Miranda, Ghost Biker.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
She
she's
it
cool.
wa-
We've talked
yeah,
to her.
she's awesome. Her and Dr. Chris, great
Yeah, we've
people.
talked to them.
So it's funny. The first time I ever met her, right, and she was telling me how she had this encounter with this entity seven, which this entity known as, hence my channel. Anyways,
Yeah.
um, but she was at a location, and this thing kept calling itself seven, whatever.
Mhm.
And she showed me a picture of a really nasty bite on her butt cheek. Now,
Oh,
when us investigators, like, if we're showing stuff like that, it could be like a butt cheek, part of a boo, whatever. We're not
Yeah.
like, hell, we're not like, oh, hell yeah, get to see some, whatever. No, it's like, oh, holy shit.
shit,
That's
right?
Yeah.
Um, so it was kind of funny because I'm like, that's what we do, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, even though it's on the butt, here, check it out.
Oh,
And
now, why do you
obviously
think that
she didn't do
women
it to
are
herself.
more? Why do you think that women are more attacked than men?
I still think because they're more. I just think they're more open to things, open to more the sensitivity, emotions, that kind of stuff. Where men are like more analytical. That's just my thought.
I also think too, a part of that may have something to do with showing dominance over
Yeah.
Yeah.
women.
Yep, that's a good point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Pretty
shit, Joe.
cool.
Joe makes good points once in a while.
Yeah, good point. Any guys got any more questions for Dana or Jeff or Joe or myself? Spread them out there quick. What is the future plans for Jeff and Dana?
Well, we would like to do more content, but I have been working my ass off for the last.
Oh, no excuse, man. No excuse.
I know.
Well, that, and then we've had a child moving into a house.
Yeah, I've been in Indiana 3 of the 4 last weekends.
And then if he's not been in Indiana, I've been in Indiana.
So it's just been, which, there was a time on one of our live streams about 2 months ago where I was like, shit, guys, I'm screwed. Like, I haven't worked for weeks. You know what I mean? And I did. I know people don't believe in God. Some people do. Some people don't. I prayed for 2 things. I prayed for work, and I prayed for a van because I was trying to work out of a little blue car, blah, blah, blah. Within a week, I had an abundance of work, and I had a van that I could buy for $500. So,
nice.
I mean, say what you want about God and whatnot, and, but I really prayed for those things, and within
Ask
a
and
week,
you shall receive. Wonderful.
So, but I've been like, when I say an abundance of work,
It's been crazy.
Shit has been. I can't keep up with it.
And you can't complain about it either because you asked for it.
That's right. You
I mean,
suck it up and do it.
Making good money. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Good
making,
for you.
but
Good
that's
sense of my
construction.
husband's way.
That's construction, man. As you're either sitting on your ass
Yep.
or you're busy as fuck. That's just
Yeah.
how construction.
Yeah, that's what my husband's going through right now. Yeah, he's on hold because
Yep.
the buildings that he needs to work on aren't ready for him. So
Yep.
yeah, we're
And that's the
sitting
thing
here.
too. I had jobs that were. I've had a couple jobs that people wanted me to do, but they didn't want me to do them when I wasn't working. But now they want them done. It's like, fuck, man. What?
Yeah, that's
what-
usually how it
yeah.
works.
Yep.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, plus then we've had just stuff with my brother too, so that's
Yeah,
been,
I mean, some of their brother and
it's
their daughter,
been
and
it's just been
it
crazy.
is with it,
Life's
but-
been crazy. Life's crazy. How about you, Sir Joe? What are you up to in the following weeks ahead?
Editing. I do plan on going to a location. I don't know if I want to do it by myself or maybe be like, hey, you want to go?
Oh, I'll check my
kind of-
calendar.
But a lot of editing. It's been interesting things have been happening. Good things. So I mean, like. Plus, it doesn't help too. I would like to get out more, but with gas prices where they're at right now.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
I put $20 in my tank today, and it gave me
3
You got
gallons.
the McDonald's
yeah,
and
give me like maybe. Yeah, it gave me enough to get from the first pump to the second pump.
There you go. That's right.
Well, so I mean, to like add to that, so when I go to help Dana's daughter in Indiana, it's $150
Oh,
just in gas.
God.
And that's
One
that's
way.
only No, it's round
Oh,
trip,
okay.
but that's only 3 hours away. Like that's this.
That's
I mean,
insane.
vans are just gas on
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. So, what are your final thoughts, guys, on women, hormones, and the paranormal?
For me, like I said, I do believe that women are far more closer to the paranormal. They have definitely been extremely important in the paranormal,
Second,
not just the paranormal, but also, with the way um, society has changed, um, and how they shaped part of get women's rights, along with other things.
I 1000% agree with all that. They definitely, like I said earlier, I would not want to be on a team without women
Yeah.
because they do add a lot that like I just it's over my head. You know what I mean? There's so much more that they can add. So I wouldn't want to be on a team without women.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah, I mean, women, are, like I said, they're important,
Mm-hmm.
and um, I love the fact that we have a lot of women in the paranormal.
Right.
And there really is like I've noticed when you go to paranormal conventions,
Hmm.
it's I would say it's more women than men
Yeah.
that are
So,
at these things.
Jeff, one of the things that I had said a couple of times, I even put it in a post, that there is a huge disconnect with YouTube
Yes,
paranormal community
I read your book today.
versus, yeah, versus outside of that, the
Yes,
paranormal
absolutely.
community out of it. There's a huge disconnect, and
Yep.
it's very much night and day. Look, both have issues, both have problems,
Yes.
Yeah.
but it's vastly different outside of YouTube.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hey,
I
Don.
really do. I really do think that there's more women involved in the paranormal stuff than men. You know, again, maybe not reflective on YouTube, but in the field, maybe outside of YouTube.
Right. Absolutely. All right. One last question from Sir Wayne. He says, "Are there less female investigators out there than men? If so, why do you think that is?"
I
I
don't think so.
I think
I
it's
think it's pretty equal.
I do believe that more women are in the paranormal field than men. I do believe that, but again, what YouTube does not reflect
Exactly. Yep.
what
Yeah.
what is
Yep.
actually going on in the field.
Right.
Yeah. They're not all on YouTube.
Right.
Right.
So
I
it's,
like even in the Warren Foundation, there were I think a lot more
more
women than men
women. Yeah.
that were involved in it. So, like Joe said, outside of YouTube, I think there's probably more women than men
Yeah.
involved in investigating things like that.
I mean, I get a lot of, comments from guys who say, "Well, no such thing as ghosts. That's all bullshit. I ain't going to get
I
involved
know.
in that." Where women are like, "Oh, yeah, let's go check this out
I
because I've got some
exactly.
weird stuff going on."
I
Yep.
mean, I do know a lot of women who are like, bullshit, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's far more men than
Yeah.
women who say that.
Yeah, that's true too. They're definitely far more men are not believers than women.
Yeah.
Kenny.
I've seen that. So thank you.
Kenny.
Sorry, Kenny.
Kenny.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on. Thank you so much. Great amount of information. And if anybody's got any problems with anything that's been said, don't go after Joe. Don't go after
No,
Jeff
go
or
after Joe.
Dana.
Just leave the rest of us alone. Just it's
This wasn't men against women. It was
no.
just
My email is booproductions at no.
I mean, I'll say this: since I've been on, I don't know what the hell you guys talk about a whole lot before.
A whole lot of it was me trying to be careful about what I was saying.
right, so that he wasn't going
Yeah.
to get slaughtered. But on here, you say what you want, safe space. People
If
don't
you-
like it, they can send me the email.
Yeah.
We didn't say offend anybody. We just put it out there, and
If
that's
people-
the way it should be.
If people come at any of us for what was said tonight, then they've got the problem. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
I'll leave it at that. This is your
I just
show,
think
not
it was a
mine.
good subject to talk about because nobody talks about this kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and I do believe that emotions and hormonal changes, whether in men or women, but mostly women, affects your paranormal experiences. And
Yep.
it's it's something that needs, and everybody's so afraid. Why are you going to be afraid? We're not putting one against the other. We're trying to find out information.
It's just look. There's just certain individuals with certain types of
Agendas.
ideas and agendas
Whatever.
that you really they turn it into something it
It
isn't.
isn't.
I mean, look, there's going to be inequality anywhere. Everybody experiences it.
Dawn's up for it. She says, I'll go after Joe on your behalf.
Dana's still looking for her boob pic.
I could have
Her
sworn I
boob
had it in
It
here.
just doesn't
No.
even sound good.
Look, I don't. You don't have to. I was going to say earlier, you don't have to send it, but that is hilarious. The way just said that. It's
Yeah,
like,
she's been
Joe's
looking at
gonna
that for the last
see
week.
what
No, because it's like I
Jeff
thought I saved it, and I'm like, maybe I deleted it.
No,
it's not
well,
an entire boob.
If you deleted it, I still have it.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
boob
go
pic.
figure,
It's
right there. Yeah.
Okay, so send that to me, and then I will.
Okay.
Woo.
Just like, might use this for later. Just thinking.
Gee, well, I don't know.
Say
Joe, are
that.
you taking requests? Is there any pictures you'd like to share?
That scratch on my.
Look, to be very clear, I'm a grower, not a shower.
As long as you know how to use it, that's all that matters. Okay,
Shit,
guys,
it's
thanks
turned
for
into a
joining us.
roast room
Thanks to
real
the
quick.
mods. Thanks for all the gifts and the support, guys. I love you guys all. You are great. And until then, we will see you later. Everybody have a great night.
Laters.